Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at Lowe's in Prosper, Texas. This is one of my favorite Lowe's to shop at. And as always, please make sure you are hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel for daily notifications. I do plant shopping videos, at least 1 hour plant shopping videos around 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, sometimes a bit later. But today we are going to be walking over here to this Lowe's to see what kind of plants they have both indoors and outdoors. And you can see right here they've got a bunch of these citrus trees available. I love me some lemons, some orange trees. You can see here they've got a Celeste fig. I was actually thinking about getting some fig trees and growing them out. This one is for $29.98. They do require full sun, but you can get an abundance of different types of fig trees. We got another type of citrus tree right over here. I do have a variegated pink lemon tree that I need to put in the ground. And then we've got some Satsuma oranges. Now, Satsuma oranges are so good. They are a little bit more pricey when you go buy them at a grocery store. So that would be something that you could possibly grow in the ground or in a container. And you can see we've got a bunch of Acer palmatum here. This one is for $89.98. These are also known as Japanese maples. For those that are new to the channel, I also feature different types of plants besides tropical indoor plants. I love Japanese maples. I love bonsai trees. I love any type of plant you can possibly think of. So hopefully you are going to enjoy this content because you will be seeing different types of plants daily. You can see right here we've got some more Crimson Queen. These are the lace leaf maples, and I like this Lowe's a lot just because this Lowe's always is stocked well. It's very convenient to get, and then they just have a lot of plants. Now, for those that aren't plant foldies, or if you're new to the channel, I call my viewers plant foldies just because I also do origami. But you can see right here, this is Lowe's, and we're about to walk into the garden center, see what kind of plants they have. I am filming this right off of getting off of work, so it is in the afternoon. It is that golden hour where you can see the sun is really bright. I do a lot of my plant shopping videos at night, but you can see here it is nice and bright. There are a lot of petunias, and I've stated this in several of my previous videos. It seems like petunias are the flower of the hour. Love those hanging basket petunias. So many different hybrids. But now we have walked over here to the outdoor garden section. They do have some tropical plants out here, so I'm going to walk over here and see what kind of tropical plants they have available. It looks like they've got some hibiscus here. I love me some hibiscus. You know, with hibiscus, they require full sun. Look at these gorgeous blooms. My family is from the Philippines, so I'm Filipino, and in the Philippines, we call hibiscus gomamela, and they grow so good in tropical climates. They like that humidity, they like that bright sun, alongside with all of these mandevilla flowers right over here. On our right side here is we've got a lot of like assorted succulents and cactus. And I want to show you this. Look at this gorgeous cordyline Hawaiian tea plant right here. This one is the kiwi version. So it's got that like green, pink, yellow. There's just a lot of colors happening with cordyline plants. I love cordyline plants. You can actually grow them in full sun. And when you grow them in full sun, they actually have better variegation and coloration. And we've got some bougainvilleas right over here. What else do we have here? We've got a bunch of Croton petra. So Croton plants, you can see these are often marketed as an indoor house plant. This one is for $10.98. But truthfully, any type of Croton plant is actually going to do better outdoors. They can grow in full sun, and truthfully, growing them in full sun is probably the best ideal. I know that they get the best coloration when it comes to that, but we're just going to walk over here, and I'm going to pan over and show you what other outdoor plants that they have. It looks like they've got a lot of assorted succulents right over here. And, you know, Lowe's is one of my go-to places to shop for plants. Whenever you go big box store plant shopping, it's always nice to compare and contrast different types of big box stores. And you can see right over here, this is another flowering, I believe, crown of thorns. Correct me if I'm wrong, plant folies, if that's not the correct plant ID. And I'm going to walk over here, and you can see there's some cypress trees, more shrubs that you can grow outdoors. I am excited to share with you guys my outdoor garden. I've been working on it a lot. And I'm going to pan over here. So I've been getting interested in growing perennials. So this dahlia is a perennial. And for those that don't know what perennials are basically plants that you can plant in your landscape, really depending on your zones, but they will bloom or grow for a season, die off in the winter, and come back in the spring. So those are really cool plants to have. And over here, we've got a bunch of encore azaleas. I love azaleas. Azaleas are absolutely stunning. They remind me of Japanese gardens. And for me, if you missed the last video I uploaded the other night, I showcased the Japanese gardens in Fort Worth, Texas. You'll understand why I'm all about Japanese gardens. I love the simplicity of it and just the plants. And let's take a look at it over here. Now we are looking at an Asiatic lily. Asiatic lilies come in different types of bloom colors. This one has a nice red bloom color. And we also have some roses here. And what I would tell you about roses, they like lots of heat, full sun. Do not water their leaves because they can potentially get that yellow black spot disease. And we've got some columbine flowers. This is the first time I've seen them at Lowe's. This one's for $8.98. I recently got into columbine flowers because the structure of the flower is beautiful. And you can see that they also look like squid or some type of sea creature. So I think that's really nice. They're also perennials. I planted a yellow one and a red one in my backyard right next to my Japanese maple. Bought those at Walmart because Walmart is a little bit more cost effective when it comes to that. But I am also going to walk over here and take a look. So I have been into Coleus plants. So I was never really into Coleus plants until I visited my grandmother and she was able to propagate them. Now these are only for $1.97, but guess what? This week, Lowe's is having a sale where they're literally only $1. So I will be picking out a couple of Coleus plants. What I like about Coleus plants are they're easy to propagate. You can really snap a piece off, stick it in water, and it will root. Or what, as my grandmother says, she just sticks it directly in the soil and you'll have some more Coleus plants. The only drawback about Coleus plants are they are a very, very thirsty plant. When I say they are thirsty, you literally have to water them every day, because if you miss a watering, the likelihood of the Coleus plant kind of shriveling up and getting crispy is a very high chance. For hotter weathers, like I live in North McKinney, it's in Texas, North Dallas, Texas, you can see that we get 100-degree weather and we're going to have to at least water twice a day at the minimum. And over here, we've got some Persian shields. I bought this not too long ago. Love the purple, the purple foliage, and this variegated boat lily, which is basically a trade scanthia. I actually found another highly variegated version at another Lowe's. I am growing it in a container in the hopes of being able to grow them indoors. I love purple plants, dark foliage plants, black plants. I think there is a certain elegance about it and allure that I absolutely love. And with variegated boat lily, they can take full sun. I think the more sun you give it, the more variegation it's going to have. And this one is a fig tree. Now, this is a fig tree that is actually on clearance, what I noticed. And part of me was tempted to buy it. So this one's for $16.98. So clearance pricing for Lowe's is 50% off, so it'd be like close to $9. And I was thinking about possibly trimming it back and making it into a bonsai. And over here we've got some fuchsia plants. I love the blooms. They've got that bell-shaped bloom on the fuchsia plants. They can get fairly large. Now with fuchsia plants, they require a little bit more shade and bright indirect light. And then look at this plant find. So do you see what I see? Plant folies, trade Scanthia nanux for $4.98 at Lowe's. So typically we'll see this as like a trending tropicals Costa Farms hanging basket for $19.84, but this is so cool. Now, if I didn't already own a trade Scanthia nanuk, I would possibly buy one, because look at this. These are fairly healthy. And with this plant, you can actually trim it back and water and put it in water to propagate, and you'll get some more. These are very easy to grow. They're fairly a vigorous grower too. They grow fairly quickly, And for $4.98, that is not a bad price for a starter plant. So if you want a Tradescanthia Nanook, and I would actually recommend it because it's one of those easier plants to grow, I would go to Lowe's and see if they have it available. $4.98 is not a bad price at all. I'm actually tempted to go buy one today, but you know, I always talk about this. I feel like I am going broke because I am constantly going to a big box store, a grocery store, some type of local plant nursery, and looking at plants every single day. I try to give, my viewers and subscribers daily 1-hour plant shopping videos, because I just think it's fun. It's also fun to have you guys on the live premiere chat. So if you're watching this live and you are on the chat, thank you so much for joining the chat. If you're new to the channel and you make it to a live premiere, don't be shy. Please say hello to us. We are a very positive and kind and welcoming community. I can't thank all of you who consistently go to my live premieres and chat with me every night. I've been doing this for about 2.5, 3 months daily, and it has been a fun journey. But you can see right here, these Coleus plants are gorgeous. I definitely want to get this one because it's a different one, and I want to get this chocolate brown one since these are only $1. So I love finding sale plants, and I love all of the Coleus plants. So I will be doing a Coleus collection haul soon. And I do want to show you this Ajuga plant for $4.98. Look at that variegation, and mine is doing very well as well in a container. This is another plant that I would like to grow in a container indoors. For now, it is outdoors in my front patio facing south. So there's a lot of bright light there, but it's doing very well. And then I'm going to look at this plant. So this is another plant that Alternanthera, I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is for $4.98. I always wonder why this particular one was actually kind of burnt. There's some crisping on it, so I don't know if it's one of those plants that just needs to be in more shade. I do like the color of it. The purple, lavender color, maroon color is really nice. I saw a lot of varieties of that particular plant, and it's one that I would want to grow indoors possibly. So I've just been doing a lot of experimenting and checking out what plants can be grown indoors. You know, theoretically, if you have an outdoor plant, any outdoor plant can grow indoors. It's just a matter of what type of lighting conditions you can give. Like for instance, I wouldn't mind growing a hosta plant indoors. It kind of reminds me of a tropical plant. This one's for $12.98. This one's by Monrova, but look at that green on green variegation. It is absolutely stunning, and they have different varieties of it. So I'm just going to keep pulling these out and showing you guys what hostas they have available. And over here, we've got a gorgeous maroon chocolate color cordyline plant. I thought this was a Dracaena, but this is actually a cordyline plant by Costa Farms for $10.98. That's not a bad price at all. And we've got a bunch of Fatsa japonica or Japanese Aralia right here. This is just a regular green form. And then we've got a bunch of cordyline Hawaiian tea plants right over here. I think they are gorgeous as well. And the thing about Hawaiian tea plant is they do better outdoors. If you grow them indoors, there is a risk of actually getting spider mites, but it's one of those plants I would like to be able to overwinterize and grow when it's cold outside. So we're going to see. And then the variegated ginger. I love the variegation on this. I've attempted to grow this indoors twice and it hasn't really done well for me. So I think it's one of those plants that just really needs to be outdoors. We've got some gorgeous looking hydrangeas, some Kalia lilies. I mean, look at that bloom right here. Plant folies, what do you think about Kalia lilies? I always find them at grocery stores and they're just readily available. But now we're going to walk in here and just take a look at the indoor tropical plants that they have. I love going to this Lowe's because they have a really good way of keeping their plants healthy looking, keeping it full, even if they don't necessarily get a full restock. I like how they merchandise their plants. So I'm just going to go pan over here, walk over here and show you what they have available as you walk in. one of my favorite plants to grow, aglaonema. This is an aglaonema spring snow by Costa Farms Training Tropicals in a self-watering planter. This one is for $19.84. Look at that variegation. And what I love about this aglaonema is even if you don't give it as much bright and direct light, it will maintain that white variegation. This is an aglaonema white rain. That is another nice one by Costa Farms. And we are looking at a full jungle of Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. That is probably the #1 indoor beginner houseplant I would recommend for anybody starting to grow plants. And we're going to walk over here because it looks like this Lowe's has actually gotten a restock of urban jungle plants. I love the planter on this one. Look at that. It kind of reminds me of like Japanese like waves or origami paper. I really like the look of that planter, and this one is an Epipremnum aureum Snow Queen pothos. I've been seeing a lot of Snow Queen pothos. So the difference between a Snow Queen pothos and a Marble Queen pothos is the Snow Queen has more white variegation versus cream. It is highly variegated, so there's less green. It is a little bit slower of a pothos to grow, but I love that. Isn't that gorgeous? And can you imagine growing a pothos plant on a totem pole, a moss pole? If you haven't seen that already, but they actually grow very large leaves, almost like 2 to 3 feet wide and length of the leaves when you grow them up a pole. So can you imagine seeing those highly variegated leaves in that large form? I think that's awesome. And these urban jungle plants are for $13.98. Now, I do like this planter. Normally, I like planters that are pretty much simple, as in like a matte finish, a neutral color like a gray, or a copper tone, or some type of terracotta look. That's kind of my aesthetic for it. And you can see here we've got a Philodendron heteroraceum Brazil. This one is for $22.98. Another urban jungle plant. I like this a lot. And what I like about urban jungle is they really have healthy looking plants. I will say that their plants are slightly pricey, and that's because of the planter that they're in. I am not really a fan of this planter. I am a fan of this plant, this black rabbit foot fern. Really nice looking fern, and you know, I have yet to add a fern in my collection. And one of my favorite plants is a Dracaena white jewel. So Dracaenas, I say this in every single video, it's an underrated plant. If you are growing plants indoors and don't have a Dracaena, I would highly recommend it because Dracaenas are so easy. When I say they're easy, you can literally underwater them. They can be in a darker spot in your space and they will still thrive. I did want to pull this out. This is a Philodendron Birkin, and this Birkin by Urban Jungles for $22.98. And you can see that certain Philodendron Birkin have more variegation, but look at how white that last leaf is that unfurled. There are some Philodendron Birkins that are called Philodendron White Measure. So we'll see about that, but this is another urban jungle plant. This one is a Calathea Green Goddess. I do like this Calathea just because most Calatheas have like purple undersides, but this one is legitimately just a green Calathea. I've talked about how green plants have a certain level of beauty as well as compared to variegated plants or plants that have a lot of coloration. When you think about plants, you think about greenery, and there's just a certain level that I appreciate for that. And over here, we've got a Homolamena Shelby, and I did say that tongue twister, Homolamena Shelby. This one is for $22.98. This is another uncommon plant, and I'm glad that I'm seeing more of these out on by Urban Jungle at Lowe's. I have yet to get a Homolamena. This one is a nice one. It's got a velvet texture to it. There are a couple of Homolamena that I want to add to my collection. The Shelby is one that I will definitely add at some point, but there's even some that I really want to add. And over here, we got another Philodendron heteroraceum Brazil. I do love the Philodendron heteroraceum Brazil. This one particularly has some really good variegation, high variegation, and it is an easy to care for plant. Actually, any Philodendron heteroraceum or Philodendron heart leaf are easy. They have the same or similar growth pattern as a pothos plant. And here we've got another Calathea. Look at that leaf shine, that natural leaf shine this Calathea has. This is super healthy. And calatheas are very deceiving. When you go to a big box store or just a plant shop, calatheas have that perfect leaf. But calatheas, when you don't give it the right growing conditions, as in if you water it with hard water and tap water, or you underwater it, the leaves will shrivel up and crisp, sometimes even turn brown. So it's a finicky plant, but I found a loophole on growing calatheas, and that's basically growing calatheas in straight water or hydroponics. So there's not a guessing game on when I should water my calathea. It's done very well for me. All three of my calathea are thriving. And I do like this green version, this philodendron heteration, just green version, no variegation. Look at how gorgeous that leaf is. And I always am going to be a fan of this. This is a bird's nest fern. I often show you a lot of these plants. So for those that continue to watch my videos, I appreciate it because I know that pretty much every single day you will see a bird's nest fern, some pothos plant, an Aglaonema red siam, a philodendron Birkin like this one. But it's so cool that you guys take the time to engage with me, chat with me, leave messages on my YouTube channel, even add me on Instagram, and direct message me. So really appreciate that. I'm hoping that our channel will continue to grow. And if you've gotten this far and haven't already, all I ask is please hit the like button. I know I've got a lot of plant foldies that will encourage people on the chat, but hitting that like button really does make my efforts to continue to make daily plant content. If somebody asks me how long it takes to make one video, total time to film the video, to edit the video, to do the voiceover, to travel to the big box stores is a total of 5.5 hours each day, on top of my 10-hour work day, on top of just my life in general. So if you're able to, at least if you're listening to this, if you're watching this and you haven't already, please make sure you're hitting the like button. It will definitely encourage me to make more plant shopping videos. But let me get off of that rant and go back to the plants. As you can see, Urban Jungle has been restocked, so I am going to be more on the lookout at Lowe's to see what type of Urban Jungle plants pop up. You can see this is a Sansevieria, and these are all for $13.98. I am a fan for once of that particular planter. I've seen Urban Jungle release some really cool uncommon alocasias, and so I'm gonna make some rounds to Lowe's. And right here, this is everybody's favorite. This is Hedera helix, or the correct way to say it is Hedera helix, English ivy. So for those that have just tuned into my video, we have this running joke where I say Hedera helix instead of Hedera helix. I was saying it incorrectly on my initial videos, but for some reason it stuck by. I love English ivy. In a nutshell, English ivy are so difficult to grow, but for some reason I've been able to grow ivy successfully this time around. And you can see here we've got some Casa Farm bonsai trees, some more bird's nest ferns here. These are all for $15.98 in self-watering planters. And check this out. This is a full hanging basket of Epipremnum aureum Snow Queen pothos. Love the Snow Queen pothos. I love all pothos in general. Like, it's one of those really easy to take care of plants. They are very forgiving on underwatering, overwatering. They're very versatile plants. Now with the Snow Queen pothos, you do want to give it a lot of bright indirect light. They do better when you are actually giving them that bright indirect light because they hold on to their variegation. But check this out. Another plant find. Epipremnum aureum Manjula pothos. This is for $16.98. So for those that are fans of this plant, I am a huge fan. I love Manjula pothos. It's a different type of pothos because it's highly variegated. The leaf shape is a little bit more round, and if you grow this on a pole or like a stake or something, you can see that it will grow really large leaves. And compared to the Snow Queen pothos, it holds its own beauty. I want to show you just the original pothos. You can see that these pothos, compared to this variegated Manjula, I mean, the Manjula just takes the crown. Snow Queen is great as well, but I love seeing different types of hanging baskets of pothos. I actually have a hanging basket of Snow Queen and Manjula pothos. Steven, one of my plant foldies, I definitely need to get it to you. I am going to PlantCon International on April 13th. So that's not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Steven, you need to make it to PlantCon so I can give you your Snow Queen your Manjula pothos there. If you are making it, if you're a plant foldie, I am going to be trying to wear a Grow Folds t-shirt. I'm actually getting it custom made. So you might be able to find me at PlantCon. Here is a Croton Mame. This one is for $5.98 in a wick planter. So basically it has a little string that you can put that plant into a self-watering planter. And here is an example of an Epipremnum aureum Marble Queen pothos. This one is for $16.98. Notice how the Marble Queen pothos is a little bit more green. It doesn't have nearly as much white variegation. It's got more cream versus like legit white variegation. And I'm going to bring out the Snow Queen pothos and put it right next to it and kind of show you the difference between the two. If you can tell that the Snow Queen pothos is got a lot more variegation, a lot whiter leaves, and the variegation is more white as compared to like a cream color. But both plants are gorgeous. I would consider the Marble Queen just a less variegated Snow Queen. And then we're just going to keep looking at all of these hanging baskets right over here. I am a fan of this particular Lowe's because they have healthy looking plants. And here's another Hedera Helix. This Hedera Helix English Ivy is for $20.98. This one doesn't have a specific cultivar name. It's just an English ivy. Now, care test for English ivy, I would say, and here's another Hedera Helix. This English ivy is a big shot English ivy, but English ivies in general, they need bright indirect light. You don't want to overwater the soil. That's how they get a little bit more susceptible. I would say if you're growing them indoors, spray them with a neem oil type spray weekly. Have a humidifier near them and you will most likely be able to grow them successfully. That's how I've kept spider mites away from my English ivies, and they haven't gotten leggy. They've actually been growing some new growth. And what a beautiful looking Epipremnum aureum neon pothos. Neon pothos is another pothos that has a different vibe about it. It can definitely light up a darker space in your house. I love neon pothos. If I had to choose between like the golden pothos and neon pothos, it would be neon pothos all the way, just because I love neon plants, yellow plants. Those plants are awesome. And another plant that I am really excited to have is a strawberry begonia. I have a variegated version. I bought it from Callaway's nursery, which is a local plant nursery that I often frequently go to. I got it as a starter plant for $2.99, and it has some beautiful pink variegation. You can see there's some African violets here and some more Live Trends plants. So Live Trends also has some really nice planters. This one is a really cool looking bromeliad, and then we have a Ficus elastica ruby here. I saw this last time. Nice healthy looking plant. With the Ficus elastica ruby, you want to give it a lot of bright indirect light to keep that ruby, red tone on its leaves. And here's a gorgeous Ficus elastica burgundy. What I like about the burgundy is the new leaves that are about to unfurl has a very stark red color before it unfurls. I also like the red vein on it. Very easy to grow plant. And then also a Ficus lyrata here with some very wide, large leaves. This used to be a very finicky plant, or what people say, but for some reason mine has been doing very well. I actually bought mine for 99 cents. It was about the same size as this at a grocery store called Sprouts. And here we've got an Alocasia pink dragon, nice looking Alocasia pink dragon. I love this because of the pink stems, also the veining on the leaves, and it has a gorgeous purple undertone as well. Now this is by Urban Jungle for $22.98. I have one that I rescued from Walmart. I got it for $7 on clearance, and it's doing very well. My Alocasias are doing well. I wouldn't say they're perfect, but for a finicky plant, it's not bad at all, and I'm excited that I have been able to successfully grow them. We've got some flowering anthuriums here. I'm growing all of my flowering anthuriums in straight water or hydroponics, and they've done very well for me. And we've got a Photonia plant here. This is a mixed version of Photonia. So we've got a white Photonia, a pink Photonia. This is for $7.98 because this is in a 5-inch planter. Not a bad price at all for Costa Farms. I have yet to add a Photonia plant. There are some really cool Photonia hybrids that Proven Winners has actually released, so I might get that. And here is another Dracaena right here. This is a Dracaena lemon surprise, and that can actually get very large. The growth pattern for a Dracaena like that is moderate, so it's not a slow growing plant, but it's not a fast growing plant either. And you can see we've got a lot of other plants that we can look at over here. It's not necessarily restocked, but you can see there are a lot of exotic angel plants available to purchase. Let's talk about Dieffenbachia, specifically this Dieffenbachia. This is a Dieffenbachia sublime, or what Costa Farms calls Dieffenbachia sparkle. This one is for $12.97. Now you can buy the same Dieffenbachia at Walmart for $9.97. I ended up adding another Dieffenbachia in my collection. Look at that variegation on it, that green stark variegation. Lovely. Dieffenbachias are a little bit more challenging. They look like Aglaonema, but the difference is Dieffenbachia require a lot of bright indirect light. They don't like to be, if they don't get enough light, they will get leggy. Like this one is a gorgeous looking Dieffenbachia Camille, and this one's actually pretty full. But what happens is if you don't give it enough light, it will drop its leaves and become very leggy. Dieffenbachia are extremely toxic. So if you have pets, you don't want to really have a Dieffenbachia because the leaves are very toxic. Dieffenbachia, if you get the right lighting conditions, they will grow well for you, but it's all about getting them that bright light. Actually, the Dieffenbachia I have are growing outside right now in my outdoor patio, just because there's a lot of light that comes through. Truthfully, I think Dieffenbachia, unless you have it under a grow light, indoors doesn't do as well. And you can see here another Philodendron Birkin. Look at how highly variegated that leaf is. It's almost white. And you can see all of these plants are the Rescue Me plants. I'm not going to spend too much time there on the clearance plants. And we're going to walk by here on the right side. We've got a bunch of Majesty palms, a Spathiphyllum or peace lily, and then tons and tons of orchids. So we've got different types of orchids here. These ones are the Phalaenopsis orchids. These are all by Costa Farms again. And you can see they come in different varieties, colors, and shapes. I've added my first Phalaenopsis orchid. It's a variegated one where it had variegated leaves. I bought it at Kroger, which is a grocery store out here in Texas. Love Kroger. They have some really good plants for very cost-effective pricing. But you can see Phalaenopsis orchids are so common. I'm surprised that there's not a lot more people just really adding Phalaenopsis orchids to their home, houseplant collection. I like that Lowe's has different types of orchids. They've got Phalaenopsis orchids, they've got Vanda orchids, they've got Calathea orchids, they've got Dendrobium. I think that's how you pronounce it. Like this one right here is a little different orchid. And it's just so nice to see varieties. And I mean, this Lowe's is pretty good. I would, if you guys would agree with me, look at this bromeliad here. One of my favorite types of bromeliads, the ones with a very bright pink. This one is for $20.48 by Costa Farms. Love bromeliads again. And this one really does look like somebody spray painted some pink spray paint there. Love that a lot. And then obviously these gorgeous Raven ZZ plants. I would say Raven ZZ plants are one of the easiest plants. This is by Costa Farms for 1984. I have 2 Raven ZZs and they are doing absolutely fabulous for me. Very low maintenance plant, and what I like about it is if you spray it with neem oil or leaf shine, the leaves are to die for. Like, I love that dark foliage, and you can see we've got tons of plants here. And if you notice the merchandising at this Lowe's, they have all of the plants, the same types of plants like this Ficus lyrata group together. So that's all I have for that Lowe's. And now we're going to be going over to one of my favorite local plant nurseries. This is Callaway's nursery, and this one is specifically out in Prosper, Texas. I often frequent this because I am based here very close to this Callaway's. But if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you already know Callaway's has so many plants. And I wanted to feature this. So I know most of you guys will only really watch my big box stores, but I really hope you guys can also take a look at the local plant nursery. So please stay on this video and watch it the whole way. There is a surprise at the end. And if you made it this far, please make sure you are hitting the like button. I worked super hard to get this content for y'all, and that's really the easiest way to support me. But you can see those were some really cool hydrangeas with dark foliage. Love dark foliage plants. So we're just going to see what kind of plants they have available at Callaway's. I have been frequenting Callaway's pretty much every day because every day they have gotten a new shipment of plants. So like you can see right here, they've got a whole pallet of plants. So we're going to see what kind of plants they have. They've got some oxalis or some shamrock plants, and I'm going to see if they can actually unload some of them. They've got some caladiums, and look at this. So I am obsessed with Coleus plants, and look at this magenta pink color Coleus. This one is a covered cherry Coleus plant. This one is for $6.99. I don't mind spending a little bit more on Coleus plant because I can grow this out, propagate it, and get some more. And an update on my Coleus plants. After day 5, my Coleus seeds have actually sprouted. I need to actually film it and make sure I document that process, but that's a Coleus plant I'm going to buy, as well as this one right here. I've already gotten this one. This is a Coleus Golden Gate. Look at that. It looks like flowers. It's doing very well for me. I've already taken some cuttings and I'm hoping to actually propagate and make more. I want to be like my grandmother. My grandmother is actually the source of my inspiration for plants in general. She literally took a bunch of like 3-inch starter planters of Coleus and was able to multiply them and put them in 10-inch planters one season. So I might end up doing that. Call me a Coleus hoarder. But for those that aren't into Coleus, I would recommend growing them because they're super easy to grow. And then we're just gonna walk over here and see what kind of plants they have here. It looks like this whole table was already shopped and wiped out, but look at all of these gorgeous blooms. If you like Rex begonias, you can go to Callaway's and pay $16.99 for a fairly established large Rex begonia. My thing about Rex begonias are they can be a little bit tricky, but the trick is you don't want to top water them. So you don't want to take a watering can or a hose and hose down the leaves. They do not like to be top watered. The best way to grow a begonia, a Rex begonia, is to let it dry out completely, the soil, and then bottom water it. So like have a saucer full of water, stick the pot there, let the soil soak it up, and you're good to go. But lots of Rex begonia, and then just this sea of like red begonias. This wax begonia here is gorgeous. This one is the baby wing begonia. So these all-star ones are for, I believe, $2.99 or $3.99, but needless to say, very healthy plants. Love begonias. Didn't realize the begonias were actually grown for their flowers as well. And you can see the sea of begonias. Love the dark foliage, and also that red cherry color is amazing. Like, look at this. Absolutely stunning. And these are all for $1.99 as starters, so that's really cool. And I'm hoping that I can grow these indoors eventually. They can get fairly large, but look at that. to pan over here. I've already shown this in a previous video, but this particular Rex begonia, look at how large the leaves are. I should probably purchase this because look at that. Isn't that stunning? And that's only for $16.99. Honestly, that is not a bad price at all for a very established begonia. Love that metallic shine on the leaves, the texture on the leaves. There's just so much going on. Plant foldies, let me know what you think about this particular begonia. And as always, if you get a chance after this video, watching this video, or even during the video, please comment. I highly encourage it. Leave timestamps. Just tell me what plants you like, your opinions. I love just seeing the comments. Like, I'm hoping that the comments section can be like flooded with over like 100 comments. And if you're watching this in the live premiere, please feel free to chime in and let me know what plants you like or care tips, because I always like to learn from you as well. You know, it's a learning journey for both of us. I'll give you my opinions about the plants, but it's always fun to also get your opinions about the plants and your plant care. And you can see here, we've got some geraniums. I love the colors of those geraniums. Not a fan of what geraniums smell, though. Their leaves are not the best smelling. And then right over here, more Coleus plants. So forewarn you, most of my big box store plant shopping videos, you will see Coleus. That is my new obsession. And you can see this right here is in a 4-inch or a 5-inch planter for $6.99. That's not a bad price at all. And look at that nice red color. I also love that, you know, Coleus plants tend to have like borders. So like that one has a green border around it. And we've got a bunch of these Coleus plants. Now these are for $2.99, I believe. And this one I'm actually gonna pick up and buy today just because I haven't seen one that has that white cream variegation with the green outlining. Plant foldies, let me know if you guys are growing Coleus. What I intend to do with my Coleus is actually grow them up and make them into Coleus trees. There's this Instagram account that literally grows Coleus plants that are up to like 2 to 3 to 4 feet tall, and they're a full canopy tree. I love the fact that you can grow Coleus indoors, and you can multiply them very easily. And you can see there's just different types of varieties here. So my goal is to actually check out all of the big box stores, and in Callaway specifically, for different varieties of Coleus plants. I mean, look at this right here. They've just got so many varieties. And then this one I ended up buying at Lowe's for $1, but this one is for $2.99, I believe, or $1.99. This one is a Coleus Kong, so this one will definitely need to be more on the shade. So there's certain Coleus that can handle full sun. I actually prefer that, but some Coleus will just really like to be in full shade. But if you give them bright and direct light, so like morning light, they will give you the best coloration. So that's another thing I would want to like highlight with Coleus plants. Coleus plants are very thirsty plants, so that's the only drawback. Is if you're an underwaterer like me, there's going to be a little bit more effort that you have to put in order to grow a Coleus plant successfully. They're very easy to propagate. Again, you can literally take a couple of cuttings, take the bottom 2 leaves off of the cutting, stick it in water, and you've got a new Coleus plant. And then here's another Coleus plant I will buy right here. This one's for $6.99. This one has more of a maroon look about it. So there's even various degrees of coloration of the reds and pinks and purples. Coleus plants have so many different types of coloration. And yeah, these, I like the fact that, you know, this Callaway's has a pretty good amount. And look at that peacock right there. I'm just going to pan over and show you a couple more. Talk about dark foliage plants. Like this one is a nice purple plant here. This Coleus plant is one that I want to add. The only thing about these, like you know, strap leaf or more thinner leaf Coleus, I don't know if they're pretty difficult to grow, or do you need the wide forms, because they seem to be fairly easy, but I don't know if their growth would be the same pattern or if they would be as vigorous. Like this one right here is another nice one for $6.99 in a 4-inch planter. The roots are popping out. This one would be another one that I would want to purchase today. I have a lot of Coleus plants. I'm up to like 10 different varieties. And on top of that, I probably put 100 seeds down of Coleus plants. So we're going to see what kind of Coleus colors come up. It's like Christmas. You're waiting for them to just show their true forms. I do like this Coleus plant as well right over here. I do like that it has more pink into it. And this one is another one I would want to buy. Honestly, I wish I could just get a cutting and propagate it instead of having to buy the whole plant, but we'll see if they have starter plants or smaller plants right here. The thing about Coleus plants are they can get leggy, so you want to make sure that you're pinching back or cutting it back to promote more bushy growth. And you can see this one is a mixture of different types of Coleus plants. What I like about it is it does have that green edging on its leaves. I also like the texture of the leaves. It's got a velvety look about it, and there's different types of Coleus plants that I'm just interested in. I'm just talking about Coleus plants in general, but you can see in a local plant nursery, you will find them even in big box stores. So I'm going to see what the best pricing is for Coleus plants. But again, Coleus plant care tips, they need bright indirect light. They would prefer shade unless specifically, stated that they can do full sun. And you talk about plants that are versatile in the lighting conditions. So these Riger begonias and wax begonias right over here can take full sun or shade. And that's the thing I like about that. And then we've got some more begonias right over here. I love the stark green begonias, and you can see that this one is a hula pink begonia. You can actually take some of these node cuttings, stick it in water, and it will easily propagate. Like you can see here, this is another begonia, and I'll show you the plant ID. This is a coral flame Viking begonia. This one is for $6.99, and you can see that the blooms are beautiful. I love pink flowers. I mean, they just bring you joy. And whenever I look at pink flowers, they kind of remind me of like cherry blossoms for some reason. And then it reminds me of like a Japanese garden. There's just, I don't know, there's a lot of plants that will just reminisce and show me that, kind of make me think about a Japanese garden. And you can see how gorgeous all these flowering plants are. So I'm just going to keep showing you guys what else they have here. We've got some more oxalis plants here, or purple shamrock plants. So happy I was able to find a 6-inch one for a reduced clearance price at Kroger for $2.20. Now this one right here is for $7.99, so I feel like I got a better deal. Now with oxalis plants or shamrock plants, these are considered perennials. You can actually plant this in your landscape. They can take full sun or shade, and they will return back year after year and eventually spread. So that's, if you want some cool ground cover, I would grow one of these, and these obviously can grow indoors. I will be growing mine indoors, although I am debating on whether I should just plant them in the ground and let them like spread and become ground cover. I added a bunch of perennials to my outdoor garden. Like I have some lantanas I bought at Callaway's and a bunch of these other perennial plants like the columbine flower, but you can see here more shamrock plants, and these ones are happy because they're blooming. And then we've got some hibiscus plant here. Look at that that spider. And we're just gonna walk over here, and I'm just gonna show you the array of flowering hanging basket plants and hibiscus. Now these hibiscus plants haven't fully bloomed yet, so we don't know what types of colors they have. But again, hibiscus plants, they require full sun. The more sun you can give it, the better. They are a little bit of a thirsty plant, so make sure you are watering them thoroughly. And if you can get them some really good humidity, they will really blow up and grow for you. You can see they've got different colors. I love that crane garden decoration. I do origami paper cranes. I make those, and they just kind of remind me of that as well. But this is what we've all been waiting for, these hanging baskets of petunias. Love that. I actually love the pink one. So I'm just gonna walk through and show you the different colors and kind of stop my commentary. I will say, if you find a particular petunia color, leave in the comments which ones you like. If you've grown petunia, care tips for petunias, because I'm thinking about getting a hanging basket of pink petunia at some point. But we're just gonna walk through this aisle, and I'll show you all the different varieties and show you guys some close-ups. And if you're going to ask me specifically what petunia I like the most, it would be these pink ones. They remind me of cherry blossoms. It would actually fit my Japanese garden aesthetic right here. This one is for $29.99, this hanging basket. And it's one that I would actually add to my garden. I have this little hanging pole where I have a bird feeder, and then there's another hook where I can put this flower. So this might be something I might revisit. The cool thing about Callaways is it is still early in the season. Like we're literally on day 5 or 6. And you know, we're gonna get a lot of these plants. I do like the fact that they also have a good mixture of colors. So I love the purple and yellow combinations. The canary pastel yellow combination with that candy cane maroon is really gorgeous. Plant folies, let me know what you think about petunias if you're growing them. I am fascinated that there's so many hybrids and different types of petunias, and we're just gonna keep walking by, and I'm gonna show you what other plants that they have here at Callaway's. It almost feels like it's never ending, huh? Just because of all the gorgeous flowers here. When I look at flowers, I just am reminded about how they bring people joy. You know, when you think about somebody who's sick at the hospital, we bring them flowers. But I say, if you want to bring that happiness and joy to your life, why not bring flowers like this? Why not get hanging baskets of petunias and put them outdoors? You know, petunias love sun, so you can put them in full sun and they will do very well. I am actually thinking about getting different types of petunias. You know, I was all about growing indoor tropical plants when I started this YouTube channel. Originally, I was all about bonsai and Japanese maples, but now I'm thinking that I should focus also on these outdoor plants and look at all of these beautiful flowering plants. Like these are sun patient. So sun patients are basically impatiens that can tolerate being in full sun. Impatiens need to be in the shade, but these sun patients can take sun, and that is awesome because look at that cherry red look, and then also that red veining on the leaf, and the leaf also has that bronze look about it. There's just so many different like qualities about this particular sun patient that I love, and these are for $3.99. So if you are living in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or if you ever visit the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there are several Callaway's nurseries. Highly recommend this nursery. I think you would be saving money. You would get a lot of different types of varieties of plants. The staff is always friendly. They have a good return policy where basically if you're a Garden Rewards member, if a plant dies and you have the plant in your receipt, you can literally return the plant and get your full refund, no questions asked. So there is a little bit of a guarantee. Some people will say that Callaway's plants are a little bit more pricey than a big box store, but with the guarantee, you know, being able to return it, I don't think that's a bad price at all. And you can see here more flowering plants here. Now these are for $29.99. So if you just want to have a bunch of flowering hanging baskets of petunias, I say go for it. And look at that precious looking hibiscus flower. I love pink hibiscus flowers. They're gorgeous, and I love the fact that I was able to actually find a variegated hibiscus flower where it's basically got some nice variegation on the leaves. And then here are what I would call the colorful alocasia, or also known as caladiums. Caladiums remind me of syngoniums and especially alocasia, but they just have more color. Caladiums grow from bulbs. And typically, caladium bulbs will not really start to sprout until it gets hotter weather. So sometime in the summer is really when caladiums grow. Caladiums need to be in shade. They really can't take full sun. But if you give it more bright indirect light, like morning light, you will get the best coloration for caladiums. If you're a fan of like red plants, pink plants, or ghostly white plants, caladiums are for you. And I've asked some plant foldies if they were going to grow some indoors. They've stated, some of you guys said that you would attempt to do so. Let me know how that goes, because I also want to do that with one of my pink caladiums I got. And I'm going to walk over here because these are one of my favorite plants. This is a variegated bougainvillea plant. This is a raspberry ice. So you would think about a variegated plant that is highly variegated like this as a plant that needs to be in like shade, but this one needs to be in full sun to really get the best variegation. You'll get some sun stressing where the variegation will even show shades of pink, and the flowering will also show. I love bougainvillea flowers. This is one that I would actually convert into a bonsai. And for those that don't know what bonsai is, bonsai are basically plants that you grow in a shallow container. You trim them, shape them into a miniature tree, and you can use a variety of different types of plants. The bougainvillea would be a good candidate. And you can see here, I'm going to pan over all of these gorgeous wax begonias, different varieties, different colors. These are for $12.99, and it's one that you can add into a landscape, a flower bed, containers, and you can see right over here we've got some impatiens. Now these impatiens would need to be in more shaded areas versus full sun, but we're just going to walk over here and I'll show you what kind of plants they have. Now, plant foldies, do you see what I see? Now, this is a really good combination of hanging basket or trailing plants. They basically put a spider plant, an English ivy, not an English ivy, a Swedish ivy, some tradescanthia, and some other plant that's trailing. These are all for $29.99. So this is the foliage trailing plants collection by Callaway. So this is actually Callaway's brand, but you can see they've got a lot of trailing plants right over here. Gorgeous looking plants. They all have similar care tips, and they all can be propagated very easily. Like, look at this tradescanthia here. It has some flowers. Look at this one right here. This tradescanthia is really nice. I love the purple undersides on the leaves, and you can take multiple cuttings and propagate it. And you can see that this is a Swedish ivy, just a green form. I like that a lot. I've seen some people checking it out, and then we're gonna look at some of this. Here's your favorite, guys. Hydra helix. This Hedera helix or English ivy is for $6.99. This is just a plain green one. English ivy are a little bit more susceptible to spider mites when grown indoors. They actually do very well outdoors. So if you want to grow a hanging basket of English ivy, you can just grow them outside. And for some reason, they don't really get spider mites. They do better. But grown indoors, you definitely want to have more humidity around it. You want to spray it with neem oil to kind of keep spider mites at bay. If you just leave an English ivy indoors by itself, give it about 2 to 3 weeks, and sometimes those like spider mites will just come out. And then this is a really cool tradescanthia as well, but this one actually has a little bit of fuzziness around it. I remember finding a tradescanthia that was called velvet, but this one is just a purple tradescanthia, so maybe there is a little bit of fuzziness on that. Really like that a lot. These are considered ground cover. And then look at this right here. You can chop this up and make multiple cuttings. They propagate very easily. Now, all of these are for $1.99. So if you want to start, a starter plant of tradescanthia, I would say Callaway's nursery is definitely a good place to source it out. Or if you don't have a Callaway's and you have a local plant nursery, check your local plant nurseries out. Sometimes it's better to start out with a starter plant versus buying a highly mature one. And this is the tradescanthia I was talking about. This is the tradescanthia velvet. Take a look at this. I love the fact that it's got a mint green color, but the leaves or the foliage has like a texture where it's like fuzzy and velvety. It looks like some spider webs around it. So that's a really cool tradescanthia. Another favorite plant of mine, they can be grown outdoors or indoors. They're actually not a hard to grow plant. The only problem is with tradescanthia is they get leggy. So as it starts to get leggy, you want to trim them back pretty aggressively. So I like looking at the garden accents line that they have at Callaway's. This one is a plumosa fern. You often see this at Kroger by Mason Farms. They also source it out, but look at how delicate looking that fern is. It is a gorgeous looking fern. I would think it would need more humidity. And then right over here, this is a variegated vinca vine. All of these plants right here, I believe, are for $2.99 or $3.99. But, you know, I was even thinking about growing a vinca vine indoors. Definitely want to try to grow this outdoors because it is trailing and I love the variegation on it. And then we've got some more garden accents here. Here is another Hedera helix. This Hedera helix English ivy is a gold baby English ivy. Again, nice yellow variegation on it. You can grow them as ground cover, and in some places they do very well and can actually withstand the winters. You don't want to grow them on a wall though that's wooden, on like the wall of a house, because it can actually really tear up the wood. And in here we've got one of my favorite ivies. This is a Swedish ivy. This one I actually have growing in a container. It's one that I will definitely grow indoors. It's a fairly fast grower, and you can see that the roots there are pretty established. You can take cuttings and make multiple propagations. I've got two different varieties. I've got a Swedish ivy that is called guacamole, where it's got more yellow variegation and green, and that one is the white edge one. And you can see we've got more plants right over here. Now this is a euphorbia pencil, or a cactus plant. I like it a lot. It looks like pencils indeed. And I'm just gonna walk here and show you guys some other plants. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content today. I know that we've shown you some big box store plants, but I love showing you guys Callaway's because Callaway's has some amazing plants, different varieties that I can talk about. And you already know I will talk to you guys about plants, my thoughts, for at least an hour. Today, this one is a little bit longer video since it's Friday, and maybe we can have that plant party. But you can see here, we've got some polka dot pink plants right here. Now this one is for not a bad price at all. The only problem is with polka dot plants, they look gorgeous now, but their care, I think they need a little bit more humidity. They definitely don't like to be in full sun or bright light like that because their leaves start to crisp up. And here's a combination of white and pink polka dot plants. You can see there is a little bit of crisping already. So I have killed multiple ones of these. So these are plants that I wouldn't necessarily grow. I would just kind of admire, or as you know, I do window shopping when I do big box store plant shopping. And over here, we've got some ajuga. Or no, this isn't ajuga plants. This is another I keep saying English. Sorry, Swedish ivy, but this one has purple underside. So I am all about that Swedish ivy. You know, there are plants that I would say these are probably meant to grow outdoors, but if you give it enough bright light indoors, you can grow it indoors. What I like about this plant though is it's a very easy to propagate plant. You can literally take a cutting, stick it in water, and it will root. And I'm all about those free plants. You know, when you talk about shopping for plants, I also want to talk about how do you grow your plant collection with minimal plants, like just by propagation. Here is an Algerian ivy. So it's not a Hedera helix. It's an Algerian ivy, so I can't really say it that much. So, and you can see here more plants, more ferns, assorted ferns here. So I'm just gonna pan over and show you guys all of the different types of ferns they have available at Callaway's. So many lovely plants at Callaways, and I love visiting during the golden hour, late afternoon when that sun is shining. And you can see here we've got a bunch of bonsai starters for $3.99. Plant foldies, you guys want to see me do more bonsai? For those that missed my plant video yesterday, where the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens, I actually showcased how I made a ficus triangularis like this one into a bonsai. I want to possibly even do a little mame bonsai. So mame bonsai are basically these smaller form bonsai trees. This one is a cherry bonsai starter plant right here, so this will get cherry blossoms. This one is for $3.99 as a starter, but I could actually wire these down and make it more of like a broom style. I was thinking about doing a plant giveaway for even bonsai. So plant foldies, if you're interested in me sending off plant bonsai as well as a plant giveaway, please leave that in the comments and in the live premiere chats. And you can see right over here, this is that strawberry begonia I talked about earlier. This is for $2.99, but it is a vigorous grower. Look at that beautiful pink leaf. And speaking about plant giveaways, so I announced like 2 videos ago that I was going to be giving away a free Monstera Thai constellation that I got at Kroger. I will definitely put that up by next week. I will show you guys a video / picture on Instagram, and the rules are for that plant Monstera Thai constellation is, number 1, you have to be a US resident. So sorry to my plant foldies that live out in Canada or internationally, I can't ship out the plant there. Number 2, you have to have an Instagram. Number 3, you need to make sure that you're following my Instagram. Number 4, the post that I show the actual Monstera Thai constellation I'm going to be giving away, you'll need to hit the like on that post and tag a minimum of 3 people on Instagram in the comments section to qualify. Yeah, you can actually tag more than 3 people. For each additional tag on that comment will be an additional ticket I will put in the algorithm for the drawing. And that's basically it. I'm going to be doing that for a good 3 weeks to really give a lot of people some chances. But if you guys already are interested, just look out for the post. If you don't have an Instagram, I would recommend, possibly making an Instagram account, following me at GrowFolds. That way you can even interact with me. That is the fastest way to send a direct message. I pretty much respond to everybody. If you have like questions about plants, feedback you want to give me about the plant YouTube channel, or anything in general, I am all about it. I'm even open to sponsorships. It has to be a legitimate one. I've already caught a couple of like scammers trying to like send me some like really ridiculous sponsorships. So if you are one of those types that want to try to scam, please stay away from our community. It is all about plant foldies and people that love plants. And you can see these are examples of bonsai trees right here. These ones aren't shaped as the best, but this one right here, for instance, is a tiger ficus bonsai. There's different varieties of it. I love bonsai. I want to do an azalea bonsai, some more flowering bonsai. There's just so many things I want to do. And that's the thing about plants and my channel. It is all about the love of plants. I hope you know that I will, feature any types of plants, from common house plants to outdoor gardening, vegetable plants, indoor plants, all of that. I'm not about to just feature, those super rare philodendrons that are costing thousands of dollars. Like, obviously, I am a fan of that, but I also want to show you guys different plants like this. These citrus plants here. This is there's one specific one I want to show you, and it is called a calmodium plant, or what they call the Philippine lime. In the Philippines, they call it calamansi, and I really, really like that as well. Look at that right here. Really like that a lot. So I'm going to eventually buy that. I use it to make calamansi juice. If you're Filipino, you already know this is a staple. We also use that as like a dipping sauce with soy sauce for some of our dishes. So I'm glad that we can find calamansi tree even at Callaway. So that's something I will be purchasing. I am pretty much broke from all the plant shopping here, but thank you to the plant foldies that continue to tune into my videos. And for those that have left a super sticker on my videos with like a $5 tip or any type of tip, for my videos. I really appreciate that. That actually helps with my funding. And even on the live premiere chats, I've seen some people actually drop a super thanks or a super sticker. Don't feel obligated to, but if you want to donate to the channel, I welcome it with open arms, because that means I'll be able to do some more plant shopping and really get you some more plant care tips and plant updates. And you can see here, I just passed by a bunch of Schefflera plants or umbrella plants. Really like that a lot. Schefflera plants are one of my favorite plants to grow because they can become full-blown trees. And you can see right here, this is some type of palm tree. It's not a majesty palm, but the one thing I will tell you about palms, except this one, this is a rhapis palm right here. Rhapis palm can actually tolerate more, less light, but most palms in general need bright light to really thrive. And this one is for $39.99. That's not a bad price at all for a rhapis palm. And if you haven't seen my video of the Plant Keeper Inc. or Plant Keeper Co., that is a local plant nursery out in Dallas, Texas, that have large forms of these plants. Definitely check it out in my videos. I actually have a lot of playlists, so if you want to binge my plant content, just check out the playlist and definitely check it out. I have it organized. I'm trying to get some more organization on my plants, but here are some calatheas. So I love that calatheas are assorted here. I think the 4-inch calatheas for $6.99 are a really good price for Callaway's. And again, if you kill your calathea, you can return it to Callaway's full money back. What I've been doing with the 4-inch calatheas for $6.99 is I've been taking all of the soil off, washing it off, and sticking these calatheas in a nice decorative fish bowl with some water and some plant nutrients, and they've been doing very well for me. They haven't really crisp up. I don't have to worry about watering them. There is ambient humidity, so like they don't get spider mites. I really think calatheas do best in just straight water, and I have been collecting them, and I'm a lot more confident in growing calatheas, but these are gorgeous. I think the ones at Callaway's for $6.99 are the best value, although I will say this one right here, I don't have this calathea plant ID, but look at that. Isn't that stunning? Now this one is for $16.99. So if you're gonna buy a 6-inch planter, I would say if you can find one that you can find, but look at this right here. Look at those roots, are super established. I would buy them at a big box store like Walmart. Walmart has the same sizing, like this Calathea macuyana, for instance, you could possibly find at Walmart in a self-watering planter for $14.97 versus $16.99. So it really depends. But if you kill that Calathea from Callaway's, you can return it full money back, and you're not out of money. But I want to pan over here and just show you how gorgeous all of these plants are. So I'm going to show you here another plant. This is a cordyline plant, but this one is a different variety. And then you can see that there are the typical Hawaiian tea plants. And have you ever seen a Dracaena in bloom? I've never seen a Dracaena in bloom, and you can see that there are seeds here. You know, for people who always wonder, how do you hybridize plants? Well, you have to wait for them to bloom and pollinate them and grow them from seed. I have never seen a Dracaena in bloom, so that's super cool. I wonder if you can grow them from seed, but you can see all of the Dracaena that you see at like a big box store in like a 4-inch starter planter by like Costa Farms Exotic Angel. Look at how large that these Dracaena can get in time. And mind you, all of these Dracaena, can, as bright and beautiful as these colors, can tolerate lower light conditions, and actually their health won't really decline. I would say their growth pattern would just be a little bit slow. And then you could think about that normal green Monstera deliciosa. Look at the mature form. Look at how gorgeous the fenestration is here. Look at how large it gets. So when you think about plants, and this one just started to unfurl a new leaf, love that a lot. My Monstera Tau constellation that I got about 4 or 5 years ago is as large as this Monstera deliciosa. And it's one of those plants where you get them as like a 6-inch planter, but over time they grow very large. So I always tell people, yes, the plant is small, but you need to plan ahead for your space, because a plant will definitely outgrow its space. But you can see right over here, more Dracaenas, beautiful Dracaenas. And one of the reasons why I wanted to show you guys this Callaway's today is because for $199, I am showing you a variegated golden dragon. I love this philodendron. So they just have the green form, but this one is molted. So it has some of that, variegation as well. Now, the variegated golden dragon has that white elbow variegation, but I do like that subtle green on green variegation. Look at that right there. And I love the leaf shape of it. So with this type of philodendron, it has to grow on a pole. And if you notice how as it grows up a pole, the leaves get larger and larger. I don't think $199 for this mature specimen is a bad price at all. And again, if this thing dies, if you bought it from Callaway's, you can return the dead plant and get your $199 back. So obviously there isn't as much of a risk when it goes to Callaway's, and I love Callaway's. The only thing is, say I return a plant, right? When I return a plant, I end up buying like 6 or 7 new plants. So like they still make money off of it, but I love the fact that there is a guarantee. I love the fact that, they style their plants well. Like for instance, this is a Dracaena Janet Craig compacta for $16.99. It's a little bit bigger, but they've got their compact, low light tolerant plants put together. And then right next to it is a gorgeous looking cordyline compacta. So this is the more compact miniature version that I think you can grow indoors as a household plant. If you love pink plants, this is for $16.99. I'm definitely gonna eventually buy this plant as well. With cordyline plants though, when grown indoors, they are highly susceptible to spider mites. So my care tip for it is to obviously give it bright and direct light, especially if you want that pink variegation, but also spraying it with a neem oil spray. I've kind of demonstrated that, DIY spray that I've done for my plants, but I will also show you guys a shorts video on plant preventative and how to make that spray in a future video. And then this is also a gorgeous looking Ficus triangularis braided form. So it looks like they took a bunch of Ficus triangularis, braided them together, and it looks like that the different plants are fusing together. I made a bonsai out of that. So please check out my older videos. Like 2 or 3 nights ago, I actually showed the process of doing that. And I hope you guys like it. And I'm showing you guys some more of my favorite plants here. Aglonema. So this is an Aglonema sparkling Sarah. This one is, I believe, for $16.99 in a planter like this. Love Aglonemas. My thing about Aglonemas is they will get leggy if you overwater them. They do not like to be overwatered, which makes them an easier plant because if you're an underwaterer like me, you can literally neglect them for 2 weeks or so and they will not wilt. It really takes a lot to kill an Aglonema, but the fast way to kill an Aglonema is by overwatering it. But you can see here so many other plants. I'm just going to show you the different varieties of pothos plants. You already know that pothos are super easy to grow, and I love that they have it all mixed up. We've got some marble queen pothos, neon pothos, and with this golden hour with that bright afternoon sun, look at how it illuminates the plant. Super easy. These are for $16.99 in the 6-inch planter. Philodendron heteracea. These ones are more variegated. Love that a lot as well. And we're just going to keep looking at these plants. Do you want to show you this green glow plant leaf shine? I've actually used that. It makes your leaves super shiny. And then if you don't have Super Thrive, that is a vitamin plant solution. Definitely get that. It works well for plants. And you can see right here, we've got a gorgeous looking Epipremnum pinnatum albo or variegated Epipremnum pinnatum. This one is growing on a totem, and you can see how the leaves are fenestrating. We've got some Scindapsus exotica here. I love Scindapsus exotica because of the large velvety leaves. This one is a little bit more slower growing as compared to a pothos plant, but I just love it. And then look at that variegation on that pinnatum right there. That's endemic to my home country, the Philippines. They pretty much grow like weeds there. And we've got a bunch of Hoyas out here on a trellis. Kathy, which is one of my plant foldies that loves Hoyas, that one was for you. This one is mislabeled as a Philodendron gloriosum. This one's for $19.99. This is actually a Philodendron summer glory. Love this Philodendron as well. It's another plant that I want to add to my collection just because it's an easy to grow Philodendron. I just love the simplicity of the leaves. It's It's got a metallic look about it. And then we've got some more philodendrons right over here. This one is a tiger tooth philodendron, so it kind of reminds me of like a philodendron ring of fire, but just a green version, or a philodendron golden crocodile, which is more of just a yellow neon version. This is just a typical green one. And then we've just got different types of Monstera right here. This one is a Monstera Peru. Love this as well for $14.99. This one would like to grow on a totem, so if you put it on a moss pole, a stake or something, you'll get bigger leaves, and it could potentially fenestrate as well. Love the texture of that green. Very nice looking plant. And then we've got some regular Monstera deliciosas right here, just a juvenile form. And when I say juvenile form, it's just got a heart-shaped leaf. It hasn't actually fenestrated. And sometimes I just wish a Monstera would stay juvenile, like just those heart-shaped leaves are gorgeous. And I've been talking a lot about Monstera Thai constellations. This one's for $89.99. And I will give Callaway's credit. They were one of the first local plant nurseries to really have Monstera Thai constellations readily available. Would you, ask me if I would buy it for $89.99? I wouldn't, just because if you haven't been following my channel, I've found some Monstera Thai constellations for $29.99, and more Monstera Thai constellations are going to show up at big box stores. Like this 4-inch one is $59.99, but you can buy a 4-inch one at Kroger with bigger leaves for $29.99. So Kroger is a grocery store out in Texas that have Monstera Thai constellations, and you can see here, this is a philodendron Goldie Eye. Like that a lot for $19.99. It kind of looks like a syngonium, and you can see we've got some more Monstera Thais. And one of my favorite philodendrons. This is a philodendron Florida green. So this is a plant I've seen for a long time. This has been here for quite a while, and it's still growing up this totem. As you can see, the aerial roots have attached to this this little totem right here, and the leaves get bigger and bigger as it goes up that totem. Love this a lot. It looks like there's a couple of philodendron Florida green in there. That one is for $199, and then we've got an Alocasia Frydek. Love this as well. This one is for $19.99. I have a good friend of mine sent me a Alocasia variegated Frydek, so that one's growing in Leca. We'll see if it makes it. And we've got some more anthuriums here. This one is a little bit leaf damage, but this one is for $29.99. The Claveridarium. With anthuriums like this, they do require a lot of humidity, so they're a little bit more of a challenging plant. I wouldn't recommend it for any beginners. And then right here, I would recommend for beginners is a Sansevieria. So these are different types of Sansevieria for, I believe, is it $3.99? And this one is a Sansevieria Bright Star. I like that a lot. Look at that variegation. Actually, I would definitely get that. Here is another Sansevieria right over here. This is the Sansevieria Silver Star. I mean, it's pretty much generic names, but I'm just going to read these out here. This one is a Sansevieria Glimmering Star. It looks like it has a glimmer of, variegation. This is a Sansevieria Jade Star right here. Yep, that is a Jade Star, so just mostly green. And we've got a Sansevieria Forest Star. So those are really cool, really small 2-inch starters. With these Sansevieria, you don't want to overwater them. Just have like a regular watering routine. They can tolerate very low light conditions. So I actually bought one of those, and I have it on one of my mirrors in my hallway. And you can see here, we've got some more plants. I'm going to just show you some more Alocasia. So this is an Alocasia Silver Dragon. This one is for $16.99. I would wait on buying that instead of at Callaway, or $14.99. I would buy that at a trending tropical at Walmart for $19.84. And you can see we've got some more flowering plants. We've got a bunch of hanging baskets of Hoyas. Love that a lot. And then more Monstera Thai constellations right over here. I will say that these larger Thai constellations for $89.99, it's a pretty good price, but I feel like you can get a bigger Monstera Thai constellation for less. I know that the big box stores like Walmart, potentially Home Depot or Lowe's are going to start carrying them in larger sizes. So let's see what happens. And if you haven't already, I would recommend you, subscribing to my channel and making sure the notification bell is on, because if you want to like stay up to date on what plants are showing up at big box stores, you already know this would be the main location, because I literally am filming big box store plants. Especially if you live in the Dallas Fort Worth area, I can at least point you in the direction where to find these plants. So if I find me a Monstera Thai constellation out at Walmart, you already know you will be the first ones to find it on my channel. And over here, another gorgeous looking philodendron, Summer Glory. Love that bronze look about it, that metallic look. This one is for $19.99. But we're just going to keep looking at these plants, and I'll see what else I can show you guys. How highly variegated these golden pothos are. So there's different variegations of it, but this one is super highly variegated. I would consider this more of the Hawaiian pothos. Very easy to grow. These hanging baskets that you saw were $29.99. And I'm going to pan over here. And then thank you to those who have stuck around this video. I know this video is a little bit longer, but I don't know. I was just all about wanting to talk about plants and really show you guys what Callaways in Prosper, Texas can offer. So here is another plant that I want to grow indoors. I was told this can grow in full sun. And this is another plant that I just can't really pronounce the name, but look at that variegation, that red, hot pink variegation. Here is another one right over here that I would like to grow, and these are all for only $3.99, so that's not a bad price at all. I may end up buying this, putting it in another container, like repotting it in a 6-inch planter, and yeah, this Brazilian red hots, and then growing it out in full sun to see if I can get even better variegation, and then eventually bring it inside and grow it indoors. I always like experimenting with plants that are meant to grow outside. Like this one's the Joseph's coat, but look at Joseph's coat. Look at all of that coloration there. It's absolutely stunning. And I love the fact that these are full sun plants, meaning I can just put it out in my landscape, my front, yard. And you can see here, what a gorgeous looking neon version. And then we also have this right here. I'm just trying to pull this out. So this is another mahogany ajuga plant. Look at that, it's black. So this is another plant I will definitely be purchasing and putting it in a planter to grow indoors. So as you can tell, I want to just grow plants and different types of plants. I did catch myself adding too many plants in my collection to where some of my plants ended up getting some spider mites, some of them didn't get watered. So I'm catching back up, and I just want to make sure I'm pacing myself. But look at this one. This is a yellow one. So I'm thinking the more bright sun that you give it, like full sun, this is going to be yellow. So all of the 4 plants I picked up, stay tuned for future videos where I repot them, give you guys updates. I know I've been doing a lot of plant shopping videos, and some of you guys are actually interested in my personal houseplant collection. Don't worry, I will do a houseplant tour soon. I'm just not quite ready yet. And you can see this one right here. This is another cool one right here. This is a red threads one. Look at that beautiful purple underside, and then just that green look about it. These would make perfect like patio garden plants. I don't know, we'll see. Let me know what you guys think of these plants so far. And you can see all of these are garden accents. Look at that gorgeous looking asparagus fern hanging basket. We've got some Boston ferns right over here. I really do feel lucky to be able to look at many Callaway's nurseries, just because this one is another ajuga. This one is a silver queen, so this one doesn't have the pink variegation. It's more cream, and I love the mahogany ajuga right here. Plant foldies, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I mean, look at this neon plant right here. You already know I'm a sucker for neon plants. This one is an Aurea version. All of these plants are garden accents, and this one I actually wanted to show you. This is the White Nancy. I asked if this could grow indoors. They said you can. This would just need a lot of bright indirect light. And this would be a good hanging basket trailing plant. Look at how the silver leaves show, and it's absolutely stunning. Look at at the undersides are more green, and then it has that gray silver tone about it. This is bringing me a lot of joy. Plant foldies, let me know in the comments what you think. I really hope to see more comments, and if you have made it this far and have not hit the like button, please, please, please hit the like button. It really is not that hard to just hit that like button. It really shows your appreciation for my efforts to give you guys 1 hour plant shopping videos. Today is about an hour and a half long, so hopefully this is a nice plant party. I love showing you guys all these plants, and you can see all of these anthuriums in a crate. We've got some Photonia plants hanging in a hanging basket for $12.99. Some more aluminum or polea plants as well. One of my favorite plants actually. And I'm just gonna pan over and show you more plants here. I already bought this Coleus plant, but I wanted to show you this one. This is for $6.99. Look at that green, yellow green, very I wouldn't say variegation, the coloration on it. What a gorgeous looking Coleus plant. I love how the leaves are serrated, and this is a very good looking Coleus plant. This is a Coleus Golden Gate. This one actually has a lot of growth. Like, you can literally take the top 4 shoots and cut them, stick them in water, and grow them. And as you cut these Coleus, they get bushier and bushier. And these kind of remind me of marigolds for some reason. Marigold flowers. Really love this a lot. I'm glad I was able to find this Coleus earlier, and actually this is one that I'm tempted to buy as well because it's such a good specimen, and you can see how it's just such a good looking plant. And then we just have more plants right over here, more flowers. So we're just gonna walk through, and I'm gonna go pan over and show you more plants here. Wanted to show you guys these all-stars collection. So basically different types of flowering plants, ground covers, begonias, coleus, and you can see right here these are some dahlias. So I'm actually interested in growing some dahlias in the ground in my landscape because they can take full sun and they're perennial, so they will always return back year after year. So that's really exciting for me. I found a couple that were really nice bright colors, but look at how the sun is hitting all of this. Can you imagine having all of these plants just growing in your landscape, the different types of colors? This one right here is a celosa plant, but this one is a different one. I haven't ever seen this color of bloom. What a gorgeous looking celosa. And all of these all-star plants at Callaway's are for $3.99. So this one is a Coleus right here. This is a Coleus Flamethrower Series Habanero. I actually got this one right here. So I got all of the Flamethrower series. I like that a lot. One of my favorites is this one right here. This is a Coleus Flamethrower Spice Curry. What I like about it is the undersides are a red color, but the top part is more of a golden yellow look about it. Very nice looking plant, and even the veination of red is really nice, and the stems as well. And this is a super cool plant right here. This is another Coleus. This is a Coleus Flamethrower. This one is something like, is it a chili or something of that nature, but really nice different colors. Now, to get these colors, you want to give it a lot of bright light. I think these ones can actually take full sun, and I want to show you all of these begonias. So these Bossa Nova begonias, this is the white one right here. So these look like angel wing begonias. I would think that their growth pattern would need like a totem pole or some kind of pole to keep it upright, but I would think that these plants would also be easy to grow. I did buy a couple of these these. I love the blooms and also the leaf shape of these begonias. So there's many varieties here. I also like the dark foliage ones, and you see how that sun is hitting the red color. It is literally just making them fiery, and that's the thing I like about plants. You know, you can view a plant from the top view, and then when you view it from the underside, you can get so many different colors. I mean, this one is absolutely stunning. It's one that I bought as well. I'm going to repot it in a bigger pot to see if it will actually get larger, but you can see they've got so many different types of begonias. Like here's another begonia right over here with dark foliage plants. So I'm learning a lot about begonias. I didn't realize that, you know, begonias actually have some beautiful blooms and are grown for that. And then here are some more begonias here. I actually like these begonias because they kind of look like roses. These ones are more for shade. So the nonstop mocha cherry is the one I got. And what I love is that dark foliage leaf. And even the undersides of the leaves remind me of like a Rex begonia. I'm a fan of this bougainvillea, this variegated bougainvillea, and also this is a plant I'm planning on buying for $29.99. This is a variegated fatschedera or a pia tree plant. What I like about it is, do you see how the leaves look like a sweet gum tree or even a maple tree? And I love the fact that they've got it staked up to where it looks like a tree already. And we've got another variegated bougainvillea, but I definitely want to get a fatschedera variegated. And speaking of variegated plants, do you see how gorgeous this variegated hibiscus is? So this is a variegated salsa dancer hibiscus, the pinks, the whites, the variegation. This can take full sun and the blooms are red. I actually bought one of these when I first saw it at H-E-B, which is a local Texas grocery store. It's the only Texas grocery. You can only find H-E-Bs in Texas, but I was able to get one for a really good price, and they now have it available at Callaway. This one's actually got better variegation than mine. And then right over here we've got some citrosa, or some plants that will repel mosquitoes. So if you want some citronella plants, definitely get that. But you see all of these hanging baskets here. I just want to walk through and show you without any of the commentary. I wanted to show you these gorgeous looking lantanas. So lantanas are a very drought tolerant, hardy, very fast growing plant. I planted a bunch of them in my garden, in my landscape, and I'm hoping that I will get a lot of clusters of blooms like this. What I like about it is they are drought tolerant. They're perennials, so that works for my zone. And you can see here we've got some dwarf zinnias. So these zinnias, look at how cool it is, how they all have the same height on the flower. Now these are all for $1.99. I do like the color of this zinnia. I love zinnias. They're so easy to grow. The variegated zinnia, or zinnia that I get, the candy cane or the peppermint stick one that you can buy at a big box or a seeds, gorgeous looking flowers. They make very good cut flowers. Now these ones are more of the miniature ones. Typically zinnias will get a little bit larger. The only thing about zinnias again is that they can get fungus, so you don't really want to water the tops of their leaves. So that's just one thing I want to warn you guys. And then we've got some more assorted lantanas and a bunch of what looks like miniature petunias. These are Calibachoa plants and more different types of petunias right over here. Lots of it. I'm just going to walk by and show you guys all of the cool varieties they have. Such a cool velvet, dark black petunia. Isn't that awesome? I mean, Mother Nature is amazing, and I love that texture. Part of me just wants to buy that to say I have a black petunia. And here's another petunia right here. I love how, you know, the color scheme is purple and yellow, and on the color wheel they're actually complementary colors. They're on the opposite side of the color wheel, which I think is really cool. And then look at this gorgeous looking bougainvillea. This is the variegated one as well. You can see that the red next to all of those variegated leaves are awesome. I would love to make a bonsai with this. Now these are for $16.99. That's not a bad price at all, considering that they are very healthy stock. And you can see this one's a little bit more sun stressed. So I talked about if you give it a little bit more light, look at how there's some pinks with it. And such a highly variegated plant you would think would burn in the sun, but that one actually thrives. And I'm just gonna walk over here. The video's almost done, but I am just so excited to show you all the different plants that they have. So I'm just gonna walk through here one more time and show you. Finally, I'm going to show you some gorgeous looking Phalaenopsis orchids. The one that I like is that yellow pastel looking one. All of these Phalaenopsis orchids are for $14.99. But my plant foldies and anybody that is new to the channel, thank you so much for watching this video. It is a fun Friday evening. I hope you guys enjoy this plant party. As always, please make sure you're hitting the like button and hitting subscribe. I will be ending this video, and hopefully I can have a video for Saturday. I have yet to film it, so I might have to come outside and film. But this is Richie at Grow Folds. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of plant tourism by visiting the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. They've got a butterfly show that I wanted to check out. So as always, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you are hitting that like button and also subscribing to my channel with notifications on. I also have an Instagram at GrowFolds if you want to connect with me. I post other content on my Instagram as well. But as you guys can see, I am about to walk into the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. I love going here just because year after year, they have something new, and I absolutely love the Japanese garden. But anyways, we have walked into the Fort Worth Botanical Garden Conservatory. So they always have different types of shows. They had an orchid show last year, and this year they're doing a butterfly show. So you can see there are a bunch of butterflies fluttering around. I don't know all of the butterfly species, but I did want to just showcase a couple of the beautiful tropical plants that they have at this conservatory. I've been to this conservatory multiple times. I at least go once a year. I've been living out in North Dallas for a good while now, and you know, it's just really exciting to see that they have a conservatory as gorgeous as this. Look at these butterflies right over here. They've got some fruit, so apparently, you know, butterflies like fruit. I believe it's because they like that sugar. And you can see there's a bunch of lantana right over here. Now these lantana aren't in full bloom yet. I actually planted a bunch of lantana out in my landscape. And for those that are just tuning in to this video, I hope you stick around and stay, just because there's some bonus features here. And you can see right over here, I love showing you guys what these tropical plants that we often see at my big box store plant shopping videos. They're mature versions. So this is the Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue Pothos. So you can see in nature or just out in the wild, they like to go climb up trees. And you can see that this Cebu Blue Pothos is starting to fenestrate. Look at that gorgeous scene over here with all of these large foliage plants. Look at how mature this one is. I'm not sure what that particular plant is, but I did want to show you that. And we're gonna walk over here and take a look at some of the other plants here. There's some more beautiful butterflies. Like, what do you think of all the butterflies my plant foldies? And if you are new to this channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. I hope that you also participate in the live premiere chat if you are watching this live. If not, also feel free to leave comments, timestamps of any plants that you like, any questions that you have. I will respond to every single comment that is placed on my videos. And anyways, you can see here, this is another butterfly right over here on this gorgeous plant. I don't have the plant ID for that one. There's a lot of plant IDs I may not have here because I am just really excited to show you all of the plants that are clustered around. And you can see right over here, there's some more plants. Look at that huge bird of paradise in the background and this stunning cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. So we see these often at like big box stores, but you can see this one is actually in bloom. It actually has gotten very tall. And look at these, that's the bloom of a cordyline tea plant. I love that pink highlight variegation that they have here. And you can see that they get very tall, somewhat leggy at the very bottom, but you can start out with a cordyline tea plant from Walmart for $5.84 and get something like this. And you can see that they actually get very woody as it matures, and it will get a little bit leggy just because that is really the natural growth pattern of a cordyline or a Hawaiian tea plant. I do love this a lot, and you can see that there are just gorgeous pink variegation on it. This one's got a darker foliage about it, but as the sun hits it and that light hits it, it is just illuminating those leaves. I really love that a lot. And you can see in the background there are some bird of paradise, and we've got a calathea right over here. Really like that calathea. And you can see they've got a bunch of lantana underneath as well. So this conservatory just has a bunch of plants. Some of them are planted in the ground, some of them are in pots, and you can see here another butterfly. Now this butterfly, when it actually starts flying, is a blue one, so I'm not sure what that species is, but look at how gorgeous that butterfly just chilling in the on the floor, and all of these beautiful plants. And we haven't even seen all of it. This is just the entrance part. Love all the natural light that's hitting this conservatory. I can see why these plants are living their best life. And it's just nice to be able to visit botanical gardens. Now, if you are not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, what botanical gardens would you recommend in your area? I definitely want to do some more plant tourism and just visit more plant, parks and just conservatories like this, so I can feature them on my channel. And look at that butterfly right there. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm actually excited that I planted a bunch of lantana. Maybe I'll get a bunch of pollinators because look at that. Wow. You can see we passed by a bunch of beautiful butterflies, and you can see there's a bunch of celosa plants right there underneath as ground cover. And look at how tall this palm is. Isn't that insane? I love that, and I just love looking up the canopy. There's always a different way of viewing plants, top view, bottom view. Just looking from the bottom view though, it is awesome. And you can see there's a bunch of celosa plants right here. And what else do we have? We have a coffee plant, I believe, and just more plants here. I may not have as many plant IDs just because I don't want to mislabel the plants at this conservatory. So if you know the specific plant and you know that it's the accurate description, please make sure you leave it in the comments with the timestamp. But you can see here, that's another butterfly. And I would highly recommend the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. They've got a conservatory, several different types of gardens, and an amazing world-class Japanese garden at the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. So if you are going to be visiting Fort Worth or the Dallas-Fort Worth area, definitely check this out. The ticket pricing wasn't bad. I paid $25 to get in. And you can see right here, this is a syngonium. So we talk about syngoniums in my big box videos, but look at how syngoniums will get when they are grown in the wild and they attach to it. You can see that that doesn't even look like a syngonium leaf. Like, it has changed its form because it is the mature form of the syngonium. I also love the fact that I visited this conservatory on a bright sunny day, so that sun is just hitting these plants. I love all the lighting. I would say if you ever go to like a park, a conservatory, there's a certain level of peace that you get. At least this is plant therapy for me, and I just like looking at the plants, you know, breathing in that fresh, clean air that these plants have filtered. And let's see what else we have here. Some more lantana and some other plant that I'm not 100% sure what the plant ID is, but look at this right here. This is another type of palm, and you can see they've got a lot of different types of butterflies here. My commentary for this video might just be a little bit less, just because I want you guys to enjoy and, you know, take you alongside as if you were at this botanical garden. But you can see here another huge Calathea albertii. Calathea albertii. I love that underside of the leaf. That purple underside is gorgeous. And if you do go to the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens Conservatory, you will see all of these plants. I can't tell you how much more massive these plants are in person. I don't think the camera can really take all of that in. You just have to visit this actual conservatory, and you can see right here, look at this. Isn't that stunning? And you can see that these plants, like this Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu blue pothos, has attached itself on a tree. And look at this gorgeous butterfly right here. Don't know what that butterfly species is, but I do love that gray look about it. But you can see right over here, there's a Cebu blue pothos that has just attached itself on that tree. All of those aerial roots. So you can see that this, as it grows up the pole, the leaves get larger and larger and start to fenestrate. So those that don't know what that term fenestrate means, it means that it starts to get large and split its leaves. Like, look at that. That doesn't even look like the same plant when you look at the juvenile leaves, and it will continue to grow up that tree. So for all of our indoor house plants, our common house plants that you see at a big box store that we buy for like $5.48 or something of that nature, look at that, what they look like in Mother Nature, in the jungle, how they just get really large. I love that a lot. And you can see this is a croton, some type of croton right over here, maybe a croton mame, but this one has mostly predominantly green and just like dark purple leaves. And then over here, we've got some more plants, just tons and tons of plants. I can't really put all of the plant IDs, but you can see right here, this is another type of palm. They might have a nameplate here. I'm going to pan over there. So what a gorgeous looking palm as well. And here we're approaching a croton and a Calathea makoyana right here. So this croton actually does have a different type of coloration. I would say if it's gotten even more bright light, it would actually have better coloration. But you can see here more butterflies just sitting on that plant, like the fuzzy texture of the leaves of that particular plant. But if this doesn't look like a jungle to me, or to you, I wouldn't know what your imagination is for a jungle. I really like this conservatory. Like, look right over here, we got another alocasia. I think this might be an alocasia regal shields. If not, it is some type of alocasia, and you can see how massive it can get out in your landscape. You can grow alocasia out in your landscape. It just really depends on your zone. I will say they will go dormant in this in the winter and always just come back because they do grow from bulbs. And you can see here, look at this large palm tree here. And over here we've got a massive mature philodendron. You can see that the bottom part gets woody. Now, I'm not sure what this philodendron plant ID is, just because look at that. It is such a large philodendron, and I didn't capture the plant ID nameplate. I might find it and see what it is, but this is how large some of your philodendron that we grow indoors can be. The same thing with palm trees. I wish I had high ceilings like this for my home. Otherwise, I would have a full-on jungle. And then you can see over here, we've got even more plants and a bunch of butterflies just fluttering around here. You can see there's a bunch of butterflies just sitting down and just drinking some nectar. Like, look at this one right here. Gorgeous looking butterfly. One butterfly I haven't seen is a monarch butterfly. And growing up as a kid, I remember seeing a bunch of monarch butterflies, but apparently monarch butterflies are considered rare butterflies, which is insane to me, because when I think of butterflies, I think about monarch butterflies as being the symbol. But now it's not like we see them often. And honestly, I haven't seen a single monarch butterfly in this conservatory. So that's an interesting observation, I would say. So let me know in the comments if you see a lot of monarch butterflies. Do you think that they are rare? Because if they are, that is pretty sad, because I would hate for them to go like extinct. And you can see here more different types of plants. I just wish I had all of the plant IDs. I do recognize some lantana, and then you can see right here another butterfly like the pattern on this one. Look at that blue. You can see here's another butterfly here. I believe the color of the butterfly when it starts to fly is blue, but you can see that the undersides of their wings kind of match like maybe bark, so they're able to be a little bit more inconspicuous. But you can see it's sitting on a coffee tree, so not so much. But look, see, there you go, there's that blue right there. Isn't that a gorgeous butterfly? And they just are living their best life here. This really does remind me and mimics like what a jungle would look like. And you can see right over here, this is a gorgeous looking plant. I do like that the new leaves have a different tone to it. It's got more of an orange yellow tone. And look at how massive this tree is right here. This butterfly right here looks like it's starting to blend in with the new foliage of this tree. Look at that, and it's just chilling right there. Look at how gorgeous that butterfly is. I am really enjoying myself out in the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. This conservatory is world class, and I just love visiting it because look at all of these plants. They just really do remind me of all of the plants that we see when we go big box store plant shopping. Like this is a massive begonia of some sort. I'm not sure what type of begonia, but look at how large the leaves have gotten just being out in the landscape. And look at these beautiful, beautiful blooms of this begonia right over here. I don't even know where to pan out or show you. Just there's so many gorgeous plants here. They're massive. I guess I can show you some of the plants that are in the bottom. Look at this right here. Look at that new growth coming out of that plant. Really nice looking plant, by the way. And what else do we have over here? We've got some water, so that's some added humidity. And they just have a ton of lantana and different types of fern. They've got a hanging basket of some sort. And then this one, I'm not sure what type of monstera this is, but you can see right here, the leaves have gotten larger as it has attached on a tree and grown up a pole. So look at how massive it is. It's way larger than what we could possibly grow in our homes, but that's what it looks like in the natural state in the wild. That might be some type of, I don't know what, I know that it's some type of monstera. I'm just not sure what type, but you can see here they've got even more large trees, and all of the trees have some type of epiphyte or some type of like aroid or philodendron that would just grow up of the pole. And you can see here there's another one growing up. I'm not sure if that is a Cebu blue pothos. You can see that they are coexisting, and this might actually be some type of monstera as well. But you can see that all of these leaves have gotten massive because the aerial roots have just attached itself, so it's able to get more nutrients. And you know, when you think of fenestrating, the reason why plants fenestrate or have holes is because when it grows up the tree, it gives way for light to shine through to get to the juvenile baby leaves to be able to like photosynthesize. So that's something I learned. And you can see right over here, we've got a Setosa gray star plant, but this is a massive one with a butterfly included. Really like that a lot. And right over here, do you want to see how large leaves on a Monstera adansonii can get? Well, you are looking at one right over here. This is amazing. I have a Monstera adansonii I bought from Trending Tropicals Costa Farms, but you could see in the wild, it gets really large leaves right here. And actually you can see right here, you can cut that node right here with that aerial root and propagate that top cutting right there and have a big leaf one. And you can see there's a bunch of aerial roots right over here. Look at that aerial root where you can just cut that around there and get a couple of propagations, because these plants grow so vigorously out in the wild. It's just because they are getting all of the best, the best natural state, the best lighting, and that's really where the plants are best suited for, is in nature. And that's the reason why I think whenever we grow indoor house plants, these house plants that we have require a little bit more, I would just say more work, because of obviously the lighting conditions we provide, the watering conditions, and the pest control. Now, out in the wild, there is natural pest control. So you have several factors that can do it, but indoors, there's really no natural predators to get rid of, like mealybugs, spider mites, thrifts, unless you release like ladybugs or some type of beneficial predator for your plants. But in a conservatory like this, they are going to live their best life, because it does mimic what a potential jungle looks like for these plants, and I am here for it. And you can see right over here, we've got some alocasia. Here, I'm not sure exactly what type of alocasia, but this one has another butterfly. Ooh, it's a blue one, actually. Gorgeous looking butterfly. And we have some more ground cover here. So those flowering plants are lantanas. They grow very well in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at, for those that are new to the channel. And you can see here, I'm going to pan over and just show you all of the massive jungle that we are walking through. And then we've got another flowering plant right here of some sort. Look at that, just absolutely stunning. And we are looking at some massive mature philodendron. Again, I'm not sure what type of philodendron this is, but notice how like the bottom has changed and gotten very woody. That's what happens with Monstera deliciosa as well. But look at how large this philodendron is. Wow. And we've got more butterflies right over here. This one is really enjoying itself with all of the nectar it's getting from those blooms. And that's the thing about Mother Nature. You know, they all coexist, and they're just living their best life here. This one right here is a Monstera stadleiana, or what they call a Monstera cobra. It is also just attaching itself on that, I guess, pole right over there on that sphagnum moss, and those leaves will start to get large as it grows up. You know, Monstera stadleiana, it's one of those plants that we see as a trending tropical by Costa Farms. You can find them at Walmart, but you can see that's what it looks like in nature, just straight ahead right over there. And I don't know, there's just so many plants that you can check out at the conservatory, and that's just a small portion of the Dallas Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. I do love the fact that this has existed for decades now, and the maintenance to go take care of this conservatory, I would say, is quite an undertaking. There are a lot of factors you have to think about, like how do they control pest control? You know, you have hundreds of thousands of people that visit this park. What does that look like for pest control? So really curious. I didn't get to ask like a staff member what that looks like, because whenever I think about like bringing plants in, I am always most concerned about pest control, just because I've had some really bad infestations of like spider mites, fungus gnats, mealy bugs. So how do you maintain a conservatory like this where the plants don't have pests? So that's a question I would ask. You can see there goes some bromeliads. And what else do we have here? I do love the water feature that they have. And check this out, plant foldies. Do you see that highly variegated leaf? That is a Dracaena Florida beauty. So we see that as a Costa Farms exotic angel plant in like a 3-inch planter whenever I go big box store plant shopping. Look at how large this actually gets. I love that. Wow. Look at that. That variegation is stunning. Love it. And it is so large as well. And then you can see right over here, we've got some type of alocasia here, maybe an alocasia pink princess, not 100% sure, but that's really nice. And we've got some more plants I want to feature right here. Not sure what that plant is, but look at this. One of my favorite plants, this Dracaena Florida beauty. Love that a lot. And then also this Palea here, look at that. It is a beautiful ground cover, this Palea plant. This is an aluminum plant right here, and look at how large the leaves have gotten. Look at how it's just kind of spread out. These leaves are way larger than what we get at like Kroger. I feature these often because it's one of my favorite plants. I see that at Kroger, which is a grocery store out in Texas, that they sell them for like $9.99 in a 4.5-inch planter. And you can see here, this has just kind of become ground cover for the jungle. I like that a lot. Wow. And I'm just going to zoom in on that lantana flower. Isn't that a gorgeous flower? And look at that butterfly. It is enjoying the bloom. It's getting nectar from that flower. But I did plant a bunch of lantanas, so we're going to see if I can get them to bloom. It is out in full sun, and I want to feature this plant right here. Not sure what this plant is, but look at the blooms on this plant. Isn't that stunning? Look at that yellow. Is this like a shrimp plant? I'm not sure. Plant foldies, leave it in the comment if you know the plant ID, but look at that. It looks like it was a shrimp plant, so that's really cool. And I'm gonna walk over here. You can see that there is a quarter-line tea plant here, and just more plants to show. There's a croton petra in the background. Here is another coffee plant that they have right over here, and just more plants. You can see that they have really mixed up a lot of these plants, but all of these plants are compatible. Like this is another calathea. This is an Ecuadoriana calathea. Look at that. It's got more subtle, I would say subtle leaves. Most calatheas are a little bit more flamboyant. This kind of reminds me of the Calathea orbifolia, but like a darker version. And we have another plant here. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll pan over to the plant ID. And this one seems to be in bloom. Wow, look at that one right here. Look at that pink bloom as well. I love how that light is just really shining through and illuminating these plants, and these massive palms are just impressive at this conservatory. Right in front of us is a variegated vanilla plant. I like that a lot, and that's where we get our vanilla. It's from this particular plant right here. And then we've got another type of either monstera or philodendron that has attached itself and is starting to crawl up this this tree right here. You can see that the leaves get larger as the aerial roots attach to that tree. So that is really the natural form of a lot of our philodendron that want to climb up a totem pole. They just come up trees and get very massive, get up to heights of like 60 to 80 feet tall. So that's just insane to me. And you can see here we've got some more trees. Not sure what that is, that massive bird of paradise. So you think about like how bird of paradise can get. And you can see right over here another type of plant. I don't know the plant ID, but I've seen that in a local plant nursery. And you can see just many different types of plants here. You could spend hours actually walking through. This is just kind of like an abbreviated version, trying to do a quick walkthrough. And look at that butterfly right there. That's stunning. And I love the fact that they have butterflies that are so friendly. This one has just landed on somebody's shoulder. So that's kind of funny right here. We're just going to keep looking at some plants as I pan over and show you what we have available at this Fort Worth Botanical Garden. And over here, we've got a Calathea fishbone. Isn't that a gorgeous looking Calathea? And then just tons of like lantana plants. So you can see the ones that have those blooms are lantana flowers. And look at this. This is a banana tree. Look at how massive that is. And then we've got some hanging baskets of petunias. So, you know, I talk about petunias as being the flower of the hour. You can even find them at a conservatory like the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. And then we've got even more butterflies just fluttering around here. They are literally living their best life, and I am here for it. I'm really happy to have made this trip all the way to Fort Worth. So that's the thing, plant foldies. I know you guys probably want to see what kind of content, you know, they have right over here. And you can see here we've got some more lantana plants, and it's some type of plant here. I'm not sure what it is, but if you do like this type of content, please make sure that you are hitting the subscribe button. I do daily plant shopping videos, but I'll mix it up and show you guys some plant tourism, show you guys some parks, conservatories, and just other unique features revolving plants. So I hope you've stuck around this far to watch this video. I know this isn't my typical plant shopping video, but I hope you guys also will stick around and watch this in its entirety. I did work pretty hard on this video, so I figured you guys would want to see some plants and some butterflies fluttering around. Look at the yellow veining of this plant right here. Love that a lot. Love yellow plants. You know that if you watch a lot of my videos, I love yellow, neon green plants, dark foliage plants. But if you notice, a lot of the plants here are not variegated. They're just green and they're gorgeous. You can see here another butterfly. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's awesome. There's several of them actually just hanging out. And these are all butterflies sitting on some lantana plants. We've got some fern here, some anthurium, lots and lots of plants. I tell you, if you go to a conservatory and you want to see what plants look like in their natural state, that would be amazing. Look at that beautiful blue butterfly right here. It's just hanging out, and you can see the undersides of the wings are a darker brown color. But this plant right here, not sure what it is also in bloom, so it looks to be happy. And actually, a lot of the plants here are pretty much happy because they are getting the best growing conditions. You got to think about how they are planted, what type of lighting they're receiving. I'm sure that they're getting their frequent watering, but not a single plant in this conservatory has any type of like pests. And that's the one thing I would say, how do they do that considering that they get so many visitors here and they're just exposed to different types of people? So, you know, if somebody can give me the secret as to how conservatories can, you know, prevent pests from coming to their plants, please let me know in the comments. But you can see right there, that is another mature version of a Cebu blue pothos just growing up that tree. That fenestration is awesome. And you can see that these are tropical trees, but look at that fenestration here. This is highly fenestrated. And look, the aerial roots have attached itself to where you can't even move them. They are literally just getting nutrients and water from that. And that's probably how the tree or how the plant actually gets larger leaves. It's not just relying on its root system in the soil. It's getting it from the aerial roots as well. And you can see over here, we've got a Ficus lyrata, fiddle fig leaf, and it's some type of palm as well right here. They've just got an array of plants, and again, this is one of those conservatories where if you want to be in an indoor jungle, I would recommend going to the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. And you can see this tree right here has all that Cebu blue pothos, and this is a Monstera deliciosa. So that Monstera plant that we buy at a big box store, this is what it looks like in its natural habitat. It attaches to cliffs, rocks, trees, and it just grows up. And you can see how massive the leaves are. And I did want to show you some water. Love me some water. Just staring and listening to water is nice. And then we've got some more calatheas right over here, some ferns, and just lots of plants that we can see. All of the butterflies are just fluttering. We've got some petunia hanging baskets, and then we've left the conservatory, and I wanted to show you guys all of these phalaenopsis orchids and also the anthuriums that they have available. So we're gonna make our way to the Japanese garden, but as we walk through, we're going to be seeing a bunch of plants and trees right here. The Fort Worth Botanical Gardens is one of the most beautiful ones, and look at this flowering tree right over here. They remind me of hydrangeas, like a hydrangea tree, but this is not a hydrangea tree. I will give you the plant ID and the subtitles for that, but isn't this lovely right here? Love that a lot, and look, these white blooms are just fabulous. Fabulous. But before we walk into the Japanese garden, I did want to show you guys how I made a Ficus triangularis I bought at Callaway's nursery, which is a local plant nursery, and actually plant it and make it into a bonsai. So I have my bonsai soil, I have my bonsai pot, my stock plant, which is going to be a Ficus triangularis today. So the first step is to get it out of its soil and get as much of the soil out and just get most of the root ball. Sometimes you actually have to trim down the roots, but this one seems to be not a lot of roots, so it'll be easier to actually fit that into the bonsai pot. What I did with the bonsai pot already is I put some wire at the bottom to where I can actually twist and attach the plant into the actual pot. I've got some bonsai soil mix from the bonsai supply off of Amazon. It's a really good mixture. Now, whenever you're growing bonsai, you want to actually get fast draining soil, very coarse soil. You don't want to use like potting mix like this. Otherwise, your plant has a higher chance of root rotting. Bonsai, when it's grown into that shallow form, you really want to make sure that it's got fast draining soil. Now, the art of bonsai, for those that are new to the channel, is basically growing a plant, particularly a tree, in a shallow container and wiring it, trimming it to where it has a very unique and very structural form. So it's basically like a miniature tree. And I was really interested in doing some tropical bonsai. So plants that are not typically deciduous, like maples, where it's literally an evergreen tree. And you can see right here, this is a Ficus triangularis. I love that variegation. And you can see here, I'm going to go fill the bottom of the pot with a little bit more bonsai soil, just mix it around. And now that I've gotten a lot of the soil and the roots trimmed down, I'm going to find the front of the tree. And once I find the front of the tree, I'm going to go set the tree down, or the plant down, into the pot. You can see right over here. And I have the wiring, so I'm going to wire it down to where it could actually sit, and if the wind blows or something happens, it's not going to tip over, because you can see that there's still quite a bit of room for the roots to grow. So until the actual tree or the plant that you're making into a bonsai establishes, it's really nice to have them just attached with the wire right here. So plant foldies, I hope you keep stay tuned for this. I like to pepper in different types of clips, kind of like a commercial break. And you can see here, now that I've got it stuck on, I want to go ahead and take a chopstick and actually put some of the soil down. As I put the soil down, I'm going to be using the chopsticks to get rid of any air bubbles. So I'm just going to be very generous with the soil here. Look at that. And you can notice that this bonsai soil is very coarse. It's got a lot of pumice, lava rock, and just things that are not going to retain as much moisture. But, it's one of those things where for bonsai, this really works well. I would also recommend using this type of soil for succulents. They would love it a lot. Succulents and cactus would really benefit from this type of bonsai soil. And you can see right here, I am just trying to get rid of the air pockets. And as you can see, there is a process when it comes to just potting up a tree or a plant into a bonsai container. You really want to make sure you get rid of all of the air pockets. So I am just being careful, patting it down, slapping that pot, and just using chopsticks to really get rid of the air holes and anything like that would just make sure that all of the roots actually are covered with the soil as well. And now that I've gotten the plant in the bonsai container, I'm just doing some initial pruning, and I'm actually going to take these cuttings that I get and propagate it in water. We'll see if I can get some roots out of it. But with the Ficus triangularis, which is the plant I'm using to make into a bonsai, I'm just getting rid of some of these branches and trying to open up the actual plant. So that's the thing about bonsai. You want to make sure that there is a distinct front and back. You want to get rid of some of these unnecessary branches to get more of a structure. Now, this is just initial styling. It's going to take a while to really get that tree going. You know, you're going to have to grow the trunk out, get these I would say these branches growing as well, getting them to thicken up. But I do want to just trim a little bit back. Now, when you trim back a Ficus triangularis, it will get a little bit more bushy. I do like the fact that this is a variegated one. And now that I've actually trimmed it back, I want to show you how I've wired it. I didn't show that process because it took a minute. So I wired it. I wanted some of the branches to cascade down a little bit more. You can see that it's opened up. And now I am just taking the time to water this completely, really soak the soil in the roots. So what I'm using is actually some silicone solution mixed with some Super Thrive, just so I can get this tree to establish. It's really good to get this tree to establish with that type of solution. I will be watering this plant daily just because it does need the roots to really, start to grow, and you don't want that to dry out completely. I am going to be growing this outside in my front patio. You know, with Ficus triangularis, they love a lot of bright light, and I figured that just growing it in the shaded part of my patio will really give it a chance to develop. I'll probably grow this bonsai outside for the most part. You know, bonsai are typically grown outside. There are some plants, some tropical plants you could grow indoors. This one, I would definitely do that. And then I'm also spraying the leaves with my preventative neem oil spray that I use for all of my plants. It's also a leaf shine, but you know, the DIY spray that I use is a lot more cost effective versus buying insecticidal soap. So really thankful that I learned the recipe. It's basically a water bottle, and you put 2 tablespoons of rubbing alcohol, 2 tablespoons of cold pressed neem oil, 1 tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide, a drop of dish soap, and shake it up, and then you have that spray. But you can see right here, it's got all of the leaves shiny. It's going to get rid of any potential pest. And now we are going to be visiting the gorgeous Japanese garden in Fort Worth, Texas. And I won't be able to feature a lot of the Japanese garden today just because I am on a time crunch when I actually film this video. So this will just be a quick walkthrough right here. A couple of things about the Japanese garden is they do have festivals here. I love the fact that you can also buy koi food. So if you want to feed the koi fish out on that beautiful waterfront right there, you can get up close and personal with the koi. It's super fun to do that. I've taken my nephews and nieces out here and they really love it. And you know, the Japanese garden again is one Japanese garden that I will visit yearly, maybe twice a year. And another good time to go visit this garden is out in the fall when the fall colors have shown. But with Japanese aesthetics or Japanese gardens, if you notice, there's a lot of simplicity. They use a lot of deciduous trees, evergreens like these pine. You can see right here, look at this explosion of color for all of the Acer palmatum or Japanese maples. They've got azaleas as well. And you can see right here, look at how gorgeous that red Japanese maple is right here. I don't know the particular cultivar, so I'm not even going to attempt, but you can see that the yellow foliage against the red background is absolutely stunning. So whenever I talk about how I want to have a Japanese garden in my backyard, this is kind of like the inspiration for it. Very simplistic forms, and just even the Japanese maples that they have here, these are massive. Now these are several decade old trees. Like Japanese maples are very slow growing. Some are a little bit more vigorous than others, like some of the green Japanese maples, but even so, they take a while to grow, and there is a certain elegance about it. You know, the Japanese aesthetic when it comes to even house plants, like if you see some of those Japanese content creators for YouTube, they have a different aesthetic when it comes to their plants. I love that, you know, Japan has a rich history of hybridizing plants as early on, and you can see even in just the forms, the way they prune the trees here, the way the trees look, the way that they're set in the landscape, it's really nice. And there's just so many ways to view a certain angle, and I think that's the reason why Japanese gardens are very popular, in the sense that any angle you view the Japanese garden, you will discover something different, and I love that a lot. So I'm gonna, you know, just pan over here. I'm actually on the upper side of the Japanese garden just to see if I can get some aerial views, and look at us right here. I'm not gonna do too much talking. I'm just gonna have you walk through with me and enjoy the scenes. And you can tell that everything in this Japanese garden is very manicured. You know, Japanese gardens also have some type of water feature, whether it's literal water or an arrangement of stone that mimics like a river or a waterfall. And those are, you know, I'm not an expert of just Japanese garden aesthetics, but what I do know is it's one that I've always been into. You know, it goes to the realm of me loving bonsai and just Japanese maples. It is a different type of growing. It's a little bit more complicated than what it seems like, even though it's very simplistic as well. So if you haven't already made it to the Fort Worth Japanese Garden, you should definitely do that. It is a sight to behold. And you can see here we've got a peach tree that was kind of mimicking, you know, cherry blossoms, and we've got even more Japanese maples here. All of the shrubs that they have are actually manicured and really cut in a specific shape, and I really like that a lot. But you can see that if you ever need a place to just relax and really, you know, meditate or just find peace, go to a Japanese garden. Go to a Japanese garden like this. Go in the morning when the sun isn't too intense. Go during the spring when you have that spring breeze. Feed the koi. They have a bunch of koi in that water, and you can get up close and personal with that as well. But I'm going to pan over here and just show you how gorgeous this is. I haven't even made it to the upper part because I am in a bit of a rush, but did want to show you a little bit of what the Japanese garden looks like in Fort Worth, Texas. I always like to walk on those stepping stones right over there. I think that that's really fun to feed the Japanese koi. And you can see how massive this Japanese garden is. It's one of the largest Japanese gardens in the country. And it's one that a lot of people will visit. Some years it looks better than others. Like, it depends on our summers. If it gets super hot, some of the Japanese maples end up getting a little bit of leaf burn. But in the spring, as all of this new growth comes out, this is one of the best times to visit, as well as the fall. You get so many different colors here. And it's just one of the perks about, I guess, living out in Dallas Fort Worth. You know, we get a lot of nice plant shopping videos, plant shopping nurseries to go choose from, and we have gorgeous parks like this. Look at this garden. I just love it. And even just that focal point of that red Japanese maple is stunning. And I'm gonna go pan over here again and show you all of the other features they have. They have a little pagoda right there where you can have some tea. And yeah, this is just a beautiful day, beautiful spring 2024 day to check out the Japanese garden. I know you just saw how I made a bonsai, but a lot of the Japanese garden is basically a massive bonsai, if that makes any sense, that all of the trees are meticulously taken care of, placed in a certain way, placed in a certain angle. Lots to really be said about the Japanese garden and the aesthetics behind it. In many ways, the Japanese garden is definitely very minimalistic, but the complexity of just even how they've trained that particular pine to have that shape, it's mind-blowing to me, because there's very subtle nuances, and those subtle nuances actually contribute such a beautiful focal point for a lot of the garden as well. And even just the colors and just the types of plants that they select, it's amazing. It looks like, you know, you take a trip and teleport to Japan. One of my dream destinations is to visit Japan someday. And you can see right over here, I'd love to be able to grow a dogwood tree. Look at how nice that is. It is in bloom. And we are about to exit the Japanese garden. There's just a couple of more features I wanted to show you at this botanical garden. But hopefully you guys have liked it. If you haven't already, please make sure you are hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel with the notifications. I typically do plant shopping videos, but I will take you on a field trip, some plant tourism, to show you guys, you know, places like this. And you can see there is a whole wall of honeysuckle. Love that. I have a couple of neighbors that grow it. And then look at this Japanese maple right over here as well. I just love how the leaves are illuminated by the sun and they just dance around. All that lighting is amazing. Love it a lot. I have one growing in my front yard as well, and when the light hits it, it is absolutely stunning. I'm hoping that I can get a lot of these trees to establish in my backyard. And we're just gonna walk over here, and I want to feature this beautiful flowering tree here. Like, this is amazing. It looks like it is covered in snow, and I like that a lot. So plant foldies, I hope you enjoyed our little quick field trip to the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. I gave you a little bit of a glimpse of what you could see here. If you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, please check it out, and I'll see you on the next one. Good day, bye, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at Lowe's off of Preston Road in Frisco, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel for daily notifications of my 1-hour plant shopping videos. I know that I took the weekend off, so I missed you plant foldies. And for those that are new, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. What did you guys think of the solar eclipse today in North Dallas? It was amazing, and I'm curious to see what you guys thought of it. But right now we are walking over here and looking at these mandevilla flowers. Most of the Lowe's that I've been visiting have all of these tropical planters with mandevilla flowers mixed in with a couple of other tropical plants. It is spring, so we will be seeing more plants. And if you haven't already, please make sure you are subscribing to my channel, just because I will be very diligent about getting some plant content for you daily, at least 1 hour. So we're going to see what we have here. Most Lowe's, when you walk in, at least in North Dallas, you'll have a little setup at the very beginning of the entrance. And right here, we've got a trending tropical Aglaonema. This one is for $19.98 by Costa Farms. We also have another Aglaonema right over here. This is a pink Siam Aglaonema. These were a little bit more abundant earlier this year, so I'm glad that they are coming back. I love the Aglaonemas with the margins or the borders around their leaves. Very easy to care for plant. One of my favorite plants to grow. I have quite a bit of them in my collection. And then right over here, we've got a highly variegated philodendron Birkin. This one is in a self-watering planter for $15.98 by Costa Farms. Again, this one has some pretty good variegation. There's some philodendron Birkin that are a little bit more green, but you can see the newest leaf is white. Really love that a lot. And with philodendron Birkin, they were a little bit more uncommon about 3 to 4 years ago. Now I would consider them a common philodendron. And we've got some more plants right over here. I'm just going to pan out and show you what else they've got here. And we've got a combination of Costa Farms plants. This one is for $17.98. So we've got a red Anphotonia, Epipremnum aureum, marble, and a palm right over here. So they've all got different lighting conditions and care conditions. So I'm not really sure what the motive is in terms of just these mixed planters. Like we've got a waffle plant here. We've got a croton here, and I believe a palm. So the croton and palm definitely need high, direct, bright light. And then the snow white waffle plant definitely needs to be in darker, lighter, lighting conditions. Otherwise, it's going to crisp up. So these are gorgeous arrangements. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure if I would be able to grow these plants long term. I'm also not a big fan of the moss or the top dressing of these combination containers. Plant foldies, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I know that there's always a lot of chatter on the live premiere chats, and as always, really appreciate you plant foldies for always tuning into my live premieres. And if you haven't made a live premiere and you're watching this live, say hello. We are a friendly bunch, and we always welcome new people to the chat. And over here, we've got a Calathea. Not sure what the Calathea plant ID is for this one. There's so many different types of Calatheas, but this one is for $15.98 in a self-watering planter. I have been growing all of my Calatheas now in hydroponics or just straight water alongside with my anthuriums. I've realized that they are a lot easier to take care of because I don't have to worry about having to water them often. I'm the type of person who doesn't really water a lot of their plants. I'm more of an underwaterer, and I think that's due to my very, very busy schedule. And you can see that over the weekend I decided to take a little bit of time off for myself. Making these plant videos, it does take quite a bit of time, the travel time to get to a big box store, the time to film, the time to edit, the time to do voiceover, and then the time to upload. It's quite a bit of a task, but I truly enjoy it. I just wanted to take a little bit of a weekend off, but I'm now back at it. I will be filming more content this week, so don't worry. I will have those daily plant videos. For those that have been supporting me lately, and since the start of my YouTube, thank you so much for that. Just make sure you guys are hitting that like button if you're watching this video already. And you can see here, we've got some classic Monstera deliciosas, and we've got a peace lily. Love those plants, easy to care for plants. I'm actually surprised I don't really have a large form of Monstera deliciosa anymore. I have one that I propagated that I need to repot maybe tomorrow or sometime today, so we'll see. And then over here we are looking at some Majesty palms here. We never get rid of Majesty palms. Majesty palms are pretty much everywhere you go. It could be at a big box store, a grocery store, or even a local plant nursery. You'll see Majesty palms. I don't really have the space to grow a palm in my home, so I really steer away from them, but they are a beautiful plant. Another beautiful plant would be that Dracaena marginata, and as always, we have some gorgeous Monstera deliciosas. For all of my local plant shopping that I do on a daily basis, I'm surprised I haven't found a sport variegated Monstera. Fingers crossed I will find one soon. And over here, we've got an Epipremnum aureum golden pothos, $15.98 again. With golden pothos, they vary in their variegation, but what I will say that is consistent is they are the most easiest plant to grow indoors. It's a really good beginner house plant, and I do want to walk over here and show you this. So I have been eyeing this eggshell seat for quite a bit, this egg seat for a while. I think that would be really nice in my back patio. I do need some patio furniture so I can sit and just, you know, relax and look at my Japanese maples that I'm growing outside. I recently bought a chimenea, so that's fun to kind of just burn some wood and, you know, admire the, I guess, the night sounds and, you know, have some fire over there as well. This is a really nice setup for a patio. And I'm going to walk over here and just pan over all of these indoor tropical plants, okay? So as you can see, this Lowe's always is super full, super organized, has a lot of healthy plants to look at, and I'm glad that they did get a restock. I can tell that they've gotten a restock at this location, so super excited about that. And it says real plants, real smiles by Live Trends. So they have another planting, you know, planter series. This is super cute. This has got some air plants here. So they've got some bee planters. I like that a lot. It's actually super cute. And we've got some Callaway right here, some orange bloom Callaway. Really like Callaway's as well. They're very common succulent. This one is the more flora bloom Callaway. You'll see a lot of Callaway actually at grocery stores, which is another place I like to do my plant shopping. You'd be surprised about how many inexpensive plants you would find at a grocery store, as well as Lowe's. So Lowe's is also one of my go-to places when you go big box store plant shopping. You will find an array of different types of tropical plants, indoor plants, outdoor gardening. They've got it all. And this is one of my favorite Lowe's to go to in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at. So, you know, it's one of those places where when you live near so many Lowe's, you have so many locations. So I'm very fortunate to have that available for me. And you can see right here, all of these Phalaenopsis orchids. I love that Costa Farms has them readily available. And you can see that one's a nice planter. This one is in bloom right here. Now, if you're asking me about Phalaenopsis orchids, they are quite easy to take care of. They need bright indirect light. They will say that they can tolerate lower light conditions, but if you give them bright indirect light, they will do better in terms of holding on to their blooms. You know, their blooms will last for about a month or two, depending on your care tips. Now, as far as watering for a Phalaenopsis orchid, you want to water them maybe every 3 weeks. Make sure that their roots are completely dry, and you'll be able to tell that because their roots will be a silvery tone. And I like this. These are Cocodama, so they're using coconut husk for the planter. I like that a lot because then you're not using plastic. These are the bromeliads. Kokedama is a Japanese way of growing plants on like a moss ball. So I really like that. And then we've got some more Phalaenopsis orchids here. I like Phalaenopsis orchids because they have different types of colors and different types of patterns. They've got simple ones where it's just completely white. They've got ones with polka dots. They've got ones with like very nice gradation on the flowers, different sizes as well. My family is from the Philippines, and you know, Phalaenopsis orchids are so easy to grow outdoors. They basically are endemic to the Philippines as well. You can just prop them up on a tree and they will grow. You don't even need to put them in any type of substrate. Now, I will say for Phalaenopsis orchids, you want to put them in orchid bark. You definitely don't ever want to put them in soil because their roots do not want to be suffocated. They like to be in very airy mixtures, and orchid bark is the best. But you can see here, look at that gorgeous looking white Phalaenopsis orchid. Foliage you can see that this one has a combination platter of Phalaenopsis orchids with other different types of plants. And then this one right here is one that I like, is look at the polka dots and the speckling on those Phalaenopsis orchids. Now, if you're gonna buy one, I would buy that one just because it hasn't had all of its blooms open up. So you have a little bit longer for the blooms to stay. And I think this is super cool. I love Sansevieria Moonshine, and I love the fact that Costa Farms has these available. These again are for $15.98 in self-watering planters. The only critique I would have for Costa Farms is I wish their self-watering planters for $15.98 would be more of a smooth matte texture versus having it textured. And you can see here, this one already has a little Sansevieria pup. So with Sansevierias, they actually self-propagate. You'll get a couple of offshoots there that you can separate from the mother plant. Now, to have that gas, that ghost, gray look about Sansevieria Moonshine, you want to give it a little bit more brighter lighting conditions. Sansevieria are marketed as one plant that can really tolerate lower light conditions, but if you give it more bright and direct light, just like most plants, like this potho plant, they will grow better. They will be a little bit more vigorous. They'll have better coloration. So that's just something to keep in mind. When you talk about low light tolerant plants, it doesn't mean that the plant will die, but it definitely wouldn't grow as vigorously or have the best type of variegation or coloration. So you always want to give the best lighting conditions for your plants. Here is another Kokedama bromeliad here. I like that a lot. And that's the thing about Kokedama. You can grow them and hang them up. I think that's another way of being able to grow plants. We talk about this in a lot of my plant shopping videos. How do you display your plants, and what type of plant styling do you have? I do like this one right here. This is a baby bunnies, Triscanthia. What I like about it is, obviously it's a hanging basket. This one is pretty full and lush. I like the purple undersides on the leaves, but also just the green leaves at the top. So you can, view it from the top as like a green plant, but then when you look up, or if you look from the bottom view, it's got that subtle purple undertone. So I like the layering in colors of that particular one. And then we have another bromeliad, Kokedama, right here. Nice red color. I love red blooms as well, and that's a nice looking Kokedama. This one is a staghorn fern for $6.98 by Better Grow. I like that too, and I've been wanting to grow staghorn ferns and actually mount them up on a wooden plank, and then just put them on one of my walls. I think that would be nice. I'm going to ask my brother-in-law to actually make one that has like a monstera leaf shape. I think that would be really nice. And I'm going to pan away over here. So it's nice to see that this Lowe stays consistent with its plant. It's one of those Lowes, especially if you are a local plant foldie and you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, to check this particular Lowe's out. And look at that. This is another plant find, another Epipremnum aureum Manjula pothos. So while this isn't, quote, a rare pothos, it is one of those pothos that's a little bit more uncommon. You don't see it as often, but I wish it would be more of a common plant, because look at the variegation on it. I love Manjula pothos because it's highly variegated. The variegation is a little bit more different, and it's got a wider leaf shape for a pothos plant. It's got more of a rounder leaf shape, and if you grow this Manjula on a totem pole, a moss pole, or a plank and let it grow up, the leaves are insane. They get very large. In the Philippines, they call them jumbo Manjula plants, and they are a sight to be seen because they're highly variegated. And it looks like here's another Manjula plant, or a pothos plant right here. This one is for $16.98. I am tempted to buy another Manjula plant, just because you can never have enough of them. The only drawback about a Manjula pothos is they are a little bit slower growing, and I think it's because they are highly variegated. But when they do grow, they are absolutely stunning. Plant foldies, let me know what you think of this particular pothos. Would you buy it? Do you grow it? As well as this Calathea right here, this Calathea burley marxii, or the fishbone Calathea. This is one that I saw at Home Depot that they had a bunch of them on sale for like $29.98. This is a gorgeous looking Calathea. It's another Calathea I might even buy as well and transition to hydroponics. When you go plant shopping, there's so many plants, so many products that you can use as far as like fertilizers, soils. It's just so awesome to just use this plant shopping as like plant therapy. Like right over here, this is another Epipremnum aureum Snow Queen pothos. Now, Snow Queen pothos next to a mandula. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? It makes you want to just collect all the pothos and just grow them on hanging baskets. I mean, I would definitely do that. I don't always have the best like growing conditions for plants that require a lot of bright lighting conditions. I kind of reserve that for some of my more light needed plants like my monsteras, my ficus elasticas, my highly variegated monstera Thai constellations. Those are the plants that I kind of reserve my lighting, my natural lighting anyway, for those plants. And you can see right over here we've got a red Amphytonia. This one is another Palea plant I like. This is a Pan Am Palea. Mine is doing extremely well. I bought mine at HEB, which is a grocery store out in Texas, for $3.98. So it's a little bit more cost effective than this one. This one's for $5.98 at Lowe's. So if you want to collect these exotic angel plants, they have several of them. And I've noticed that this Lowe's has gotten a restock. And you can see here, this is a snow white waffle plant. Mine didn't do very well. It's not as pink anymore. Its leaves have crisped up. So I think it's one of those plants that does require a lot of humidity as well as staying moist. And again, you know, for me, who has a very busy schedule, I have a very demanding job. It's one of those things where sometimes I don't get to water my plants on a frequent watering schedule. And so some of my plants suffer from that. And that's the thing about it. You know, we're looking at all of these plants, like these lemon button ferns. Beautiful plant. It would be one that I would add. This one is for $5.98. I would add it to my collection, but I've added so many plants to my collection that, you know, it gets a little bit overwhelming. So for those that are watching my video, leave in the comments or even in the live premiere chats what you guys think about like oversaturating your plant collection. Does it become overwhelming? Does it feel like it's not a hobby anymore? Does it become more of a chore? That's the balance about growing plants indoors or even outdoors. You know, having that time to maintain your plants and, you know, admire them. That's the thing. And even when I'm doing YouTube, I just realized that I'm like, I love to, you know, interact with everybody, but, you know, sometimes you just need time for yourself. So I was really happy that I took some time off for the weekend to really recharge and rest. I did work over the weekend, but, you know, the added pressure of actually creating a YouTube video to premiere, it did take a little bit of a workload off of me. So I'm thankful about that, but I'm glad that you guys are back on, and I'm glad that I'm back on making these plant videos. You can see here, this is a pink angel Phytonia. This one's for $7.98. I love the look of Phytonias. There are some new Phytonia hybrids. I think they would make very good, I would say, terrarium plants. I have a lamp that I want to transition into a terrarium, and you can see here, now this one is the Epipremnum aureum marble queen pothos. Look at those roots popping out of this one. This one's ready to be repotted, but look at that. This one has lesser variegation than a snow queen pothos. Now with marble queen pothos, you do need to give it a little bit more bright indirect light, otherwise it will become more green and revert. So that's one of those pothos that doesn't have the most stable variegation. So just make sure that you are giving it that lighting condition. This one is such an easy plant to take care of. This is a Dracaena Janet Craig compacta. It does get large. For new plant parents or those that are going to grow plants indoors, I would recommend this as one of your first plants to take care of. And then right over here, we've got another Epipremnum aureum marble queen pothos. This one isn't as variegated, right next to a teddy bear vine by Costa Farms. So I'm going to pan over here and show you some more plants. Got this Galaxy False Aurelia already, and mine is doing very well. It's not as fast of a grower, but that's for $5.98. All of the plants I'm going to pull up are all for $5.98 by Costa Farms. This one is a black rabbit's foot fern. It's one of the most common ferns that I see at big box stores. Needless to say, it is a beautiful fern. I do like the fuzzy aerial roots that it does produce. And then here you guys go, your favorite Hydra Helix, or what you would call a Hedera helix. English ivy is what the actual name would be, and this one is the starling. Love the serrated leaves, very, very narrow leaves right here. This Hedera helix is awesome. I love Hedera helix. It's one of those plants that I have a love and hate relationship. I have more love though for the English ivy. Both of the ones that I have so far, for some reason, have still survived and have been growing for me fairly well. No spider mites. It's pushing out new growth. I wish this plant right here, though, this snow white waffle plant, would have done very well for me because I love the pink and purple and lavender and cream variegation it has. This one is for $5.98. And then we have a Schefflera plant here, or umbrella plant. This one is for $5.98 as well. This one has a little bit more subtle variegation. Its growth pattern is a little bit smaller in its foliage. And then here we've got another Hedera helix, or our Hedera helix English ivy. I know for those that are literally watching my video for the first time, I hope I'm not scaring you by the way I pronounce that. It's just that my subscribers and viewers like it for some reason, and so I'm gonna stick with it. I was actually saying it the wrong way by saying Hedera helix. It's actually Hedera helix. So I'm thankful for the plant foldy that corrected me on that, but for some reason, Hedera helix kind of sticks around. So you'll have to bear with me. And then you can see I did pull up some crotons. We've got the sunny star croton and the gold dust croton. Both of them are common crotons, and you know, crotons are one of those plants that are better grown outdoors. Like this is a croton petra. Their variegation or their coloration is really more influenced by the amount of light you give it. The more direct sunlight you give it, the better off it's going to be. The more reds, the more coloration you're just going to get. And so I have a croton magnificent that is growing outdoors. I ended up buying it at Home Depot for a very good price, and I'm just waiting for it to size up. It is on my front patio lawn area. It's gotten direct sunlight for at least 8 hours, and it's doing very well. No leaves have been burning and whatnot. And you can see right here lots of anthuriums and different types of plants available at this Lowe. So I panned over a bunch of hanging baskets. These are the smaller ones by Costa Farms. These are for $16.98. And I love my philodendron hederaceum lemon lime. Look at that lime yellow, green yellow color, whatever you want, whatever color you want to describe it. But what I like about this is this hederaceum lemon lime can tolerate lower light conditions. The only drawback is if you do put it in an area that doesn't get as much light, the leaves won't be as yellow. They'll become more of like a yellow green color. I have mine actually staying on my mantle in my chimney, and it is doing very well. So I really like that a lot. You know, philodendron hederaceum lemon lime is a classic and easy to care for plant, as well as the Scindapsus silver satin. I like Scindapsus. I currently don't have any. You know, I've realized that Scindapsus, they are similar to pothos, but they are a little bit more of a thirsty plant, and it's one of those plants that it will let you know when it's thirsty, but I also don't really have the time to take care of Scindapsus silver satin, or just a Scindapsus as well. You know, I already have so many plants, but for this one, that is for $16.98. And then we have a bunch of Epipremnum aureum golden pothos right here. And here we have an Epipremnum pinnatum Baltic blue pothos. This one's still in one of those older trending tropicals planters by Costa Farms. I do like this Epipremnum pinnatum, and what I like about it is this one doesn't even need to grow on a totem or a moss pole or a plank to fenestrate. And for those that don't know what fenestrating means, it means that the leaves will start to split. This one can actually trail or hang, you know, put in a hanging basket, and you'll still get those split leaves. So I think those are really cool, and I love this plant. This is a Thenanthe plant, so it's part of the prayer Marantha, Calathea type family, and you can see that green on green variegation is gorgeous. This one is for $22.98 by Live Trends. It's in one of those mat planters, which I like, and I do like this plant. It is one of those plants that really requires some more humidity. It is an easy to care for plant if you can give it the right growing conditions. So higher humidity, and it likes to stay moist. You don't really want to let the leaves dry out completely, otherwise the leaves will start to crisp up. It's a little bit easier to take care of as compared to a calathea. So just FYI on that. And then we've got some more pothos plants here. We've got some Pachira aquaticas or money tree plants here, bromeliads, lots and lots of plants that you can see at this Lowe's. And I like shopping at this Lowe's again just because there are a lot of plants to choose from. It looks like Costa Farms has pushed out a lot of larger form Pachira aquatica or money tree plants that are braided. I used to have them. The only thing about Pachira aquatica is it can be a little bit spider mite prone. So you definitely want to make sure that you keep inspecting it. And that's part of the plant care routines, is making sure that you're checking your plant's leaves, undersides of the leaves, seeing if there's some off coloration, just to see if there's pests. And right here, these are some dendrobium orchids. I haven't ever seen this one. Look at the look of this dendrobium orchid. This one is in a crate, a hanging crate for $38.98. I like that a lot. I love me some dendrobium orchids. I really think that they are a little bit more underrated. I think they should be more readily available than like Phalaenopsis orchids. And we are going to pass by some more large plants right over here. These are the bird of paradise plants. These are large plants. These require a lot of bright light in order to really thrive. So if you don't have those lighting conditions, I wouldn't really recommend that. And then these are some violet, flame violets right over here. These are similar to Palea plants, and these ones are for $5.98. And here we are approaching some Hedera helix. This one is a wonderful Hedera helix or English ivy for $5.98. I like that the leaves are a little bit rounder and it's got a little bit more texture, like some ruffling on the actual leaves, and in the variegation, having that variegation more on the edges is really nice. That's another English ivy I would add to my collection. I currently have 2. I've killed 12 so far in the last 2 to 3 years. So lucky number 13, which is a gold baby English ivy, and lucky number 14, my Bettina English ivy, have been doing well. So maybe my wonderful English ivy that I eventually will get in the future might actually thrive for me again with English ivies. What I do is I spray them with a preventative neem oil DIY spray that I put on once a week and make sure that they are right next to a humidifier and they haven't gotten any spider mites and have done well. And then here is another Hedera helix. This one is a Pixie Hedera helix English ivy for $5.98. I always crack myself up when I say that. You know, the correct way to say English ivy is the Hedera helix, but this one has a little bit smaller foliage. So plant foldies, let me know if you like that Hedera helix. Okay, I'll stop. This one is a bronze fern, bronze Venus fern for $5.98 as well. It kind of looks like a maidenhair fern, but they call this the bronze Venus fern. So lots of exotic angel plants, and that's the thing about going to big box stores. They are constantly bringing in new plants, especially in the springtime. So for those that are not out in Texas, especially in the North Dallas area, leave in the comments what plants you're seeing in your big box stores. I'm hoping that for those in colder states and those out in Canada, that you guys are getting some more restocks. Right here is another Hedera helix. This one is Mini Adam ivy. This is another one that I see often at big box stores. It's one of those ivies that has been telling me to take them home. There's actually a couple of English ivy that I should be taking home. There was this one Lowe's I went and did a plant shopping video where there was like 14 varieties. So there are many different types that you could add, but with English ivy, they're a little bit more challenging to just take in the home. You're actually asking to bring spider mites in, so it is a bit of a risk. And right over here, we got a pink illusion syngonium. Like syngoniums, they're very easy to take care of plants as well. It's one that I would recommend for any ones that are just starting out a plant collection. And this is a Dracaena Limelight. Love this Dracaena. This Dracaena can actually get very large. This one's for $7.98, and it's one that can tolerate lower light conditions. So you can put this in a dark space in your home and light it up with that neon color. One of my favorite Dracaenas, and I do like Dracaenas. I only have one so far. It's a Dracaena Hurricane, but I do intend to add more to my collection just because they're easy. And we're going to go ahead and step outside in the outdoor section. And it's interesting that they have a lot of these larger indoor tropical plants in the outdoor section. So we got some Dracaenas right over here, some Dieffenbachias here, and we can also see that there are some yucca plants. And look at these large Monstera deliciosas. I love the fenestrations of Monstera deliciosas. Even the heart-shaped leaf is gorgeous. These are by Costa Farms. I believe these are for $35. And the thing about it is you want to be a little bit more selective with some of your Monstera deliciosas. You'll get them for a good price, but you want to see if you can get one that has some really wide leaves that are not unfurling, undamaged. What I'm finding at big box stores is you've got some gorgeous leaves that have already matured and hardened, but the new leaves have like some damage as they're unfurling. So I'm not sure if it's some type of pest, but these ones look to be very healthy. Monstera deliciosas can get very large, so just make sure you plan for the space. And it is one that is easy to take care of. You just need to give it a lot of bright indirect light. So I'm just going to pan over here and walk around and show you some more of the other plants. It looks like they've got some hostage plants here. These are plants that need to get out of these boxes and get out to the floor so they can have a chance of getting picked up by plant enthusiasts like me. These are live transplant, like this one is saying, free me, free me. That's probably a Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil. I hope that they get these urban jungle plants as well as these live trend plants. They are always stylish and gorgeous, and you never know. There might be like a rare type of Alocasia or some other uncommon plant available. And here we've got some tree form, Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaves. I have grown to like mine because it actually prefers to be more neglected in terms of just, you don't have to really water it. You just have to stay consistent with your watering schedule and give it bright light. And I'm just going to pan over here. There's just a bunch of assorted succulents and cacti. I am trying to diversify my plant content, so stay with me. I've got lots of other plants to show you, some more indoor plants, but I do want to show you this Aeonium. This one is a little bit more damaged, but I love Aeoniums, and those are plants that I'm going to add to my collection. I'm going to actually buy one from Etsy called an Aeonium Pink Witch. You definitely have to check that out. And you can see here we've got some more plants. We've got some Crusala or jade plants. And to my very loyal plant foldie from Canada, Kathy, I know you asked for more jade plants, so I'm going to show you some more. Whenever I see more jade plants, I will definitely get them on fill. But jade plants remind me of my childhood just because my grandmother and my mother used to grow them, and they were very, very easy to grow. But you can see lots of assorted plants here, and then more Crusala or jade plants here. So I'm just going to walk around and show you what other assorted succulents and cacti we have available. And as you can see, succulents and cactus come in all sorts of shapes, colors, sizes, and pricing. I like that a lot. And then we also see a bunch of these palms right over here. Again, with palms, you need to give it a lot of bright and direct light for it to really thrive. And then we've got some aloe vera plants, and we've got some more succulents right over here. I do like the different colors. And then these aloe vera plants are really nice as well. This one has some more spiky texture to it, and we got smoother textures. But as you can see, this Lowe's is very much so in stock. These ones are by Oasis, and you can see right here, this is a nice little echeveria. I'm starting to learn a little bit more about succulent. We'll see if I get bitten by the succulent bug. I know that once you start with one succulent, you want to get more succulents. And then this one right over here is another aloe vera plant. This one's interesting. Oops, I kind of peeled it, so let me just go ahead and stick it back in its soil. But that is a nice variegated aloe vera plant right there. This is a really full Lowe's, and I am living for it. And you got some Callaway right over there, some more Crusala or jade plants, a nice barrel cactus, and just more echeverias and different types of succulents. I am loving it. It would really make a nice succulent arrangement for sure. And right over here, we are looking at some Asiatic lilies. I do love some Asiatic lilies, and this is my first time really seeing the different types of colors of Asiatic lilies. You know, I've seen them a lot at Walmart and other big box stores, but not in full bloom like this. So you're seeing some pinks, some oranges, some reds, some yellows, and apparently this is a perennial. So meaning that if you put this in the ground, full sun, it will consistently grow back year after year. And I like that. I have been introducing some more perennials into my backyard garden. I pretty much planted a bunch of lantanas, for instance, some columbine flowering plants. So we're going to see if they will come back next year. Now, these are unfortunately not perennials. These are some petunia plants. I will tell you, these are the flower of the hour. Everybody is seeing petunias, but you can see all of these gorgeous blooms right here. I do like that the Asiatic lily actually grows very compact with its like leaves, and I love how these blooms are absolutely stunning. So I'm just going to pan over here and show you all the different colors. Definitely got my fix of all of those Asiatic lilies, as well as this gorgeous hanging baskets of petunias. I will be showing you guys a couple more other plants. Now, these are some more begonias here. This one is an interesting begonia. This one for $7.98. So this is another one that you can grow perhaps in the landscape, in shade, but also in a planter. I'm curious to see if you can grow these long-term indoors. You know, when you think about begonias, you think about like Rex begonias, Riger begonias, wax begonias. There's so many different begonias, but what I am realizing as I am doing this plant blogging and plant shopping, there are so many begonias that have very profuse bloomers. Like, look at that orange bloom right there. I really like that a lot, and that's something that I didn't really realize as far as begonias, that begonias are also grown for their flowers. So I think that's awesome. And it's one that I will definitely, explore and look at. And then right here, these are impatiens flowers. These flowers are needing some water. It looks like they are a little bit more dehydrated. Impatient flowers are flowers that definitely need to be grown in shade. And then obviously this is my obsession, my plant obsession of the hour. These are Coleus plants. I was able to find these at another Lowe's. And right now you can get these ones, these pints for $5 for $1. So these are literally $1 each instead of $1.98. I like the orange look about it. If I find some more Coleus plants at a really good coloration, I may buy more Coleus plants. There are a lot of Coleus plants I actually need to repot in planters. I am trying to be like my grandmother, who was able to, take a Coleus plant in a starter plant like this, grow it into a mother plant one season, and just cut and propagate. And she had a whole back patio full of them. And then here is a classic marigold plant here. My marigolds have actually sprouted after a week. And I got that white Eskimo marigolds. I plan on making marigold tea just because they are higher in beta carotene. So I'm all about that. I love tea, by the way. So if anybody has any good recommendations, I love loose leaf Japanese tea. Super excited about that. And I love this Proven Winners container setup right here. So we've got some potato vines, some what else do we have? We've got some type of Coleus that is actually trailing a a cordyline plant. And I do like the color combination, the purples and the dark chocolate look in terms of the actually the contrast of the green Coleus is really nice. I want that Coleus as well. Any Coleus plant that is different, I am going to be hoarding and collecting. So we're going to see what I will find throughout the season. And then over here, we've got some more plants. Now, this is a plant that I am considering growing as like a container plant. Something about it, just that green on green variegation. And this one is for $4.98. Look at the roots. It's already bursting out of it. And this one can take full sun. So I like that a lot. So you can make some container setups. This one would be another plant that if I were to grow indoors, it would definitely have to grow in a grow light for at least 8 hours. But there's different varieties of that. I can't for some reason pronounce the plant ID. So I'm just going to leave that in the subtitles, but look at how lush and full all of these plants are. And I am almost tempted to grow this potato vine, like just grab this variegated potato vine just because I love the pink and purple and cream variegation. It also has a nice leaf shape. It reminds me of a very serrated maple or Japanese maple. It might be one that I might grow. I mean, these potato vines are so easy to grow. They will definitely take over your yard if you put them in the ground. So just be mindful of that. It needs to be in a contained flower bed if you're going to grow it. But these potato vines are not only gorgeous, fast growing, take full sun, they can also be edible. Their leaves are actually edible as well. So nice looking one all over the North Dallas area. You will see that. And I'm just going to pan over here. And you can see this is a hanging basket full of lantana. So I've actually grown a lot of lantana, or actually planted them in my my beds, my flower beds. So we're going to see if they will do well. They can tolerate really hot conditions, drought conditions, and they are mounding. So they will get those nice bowl-shaped forms, and we're going to see. But there's a bunch of hanging baskets of lantana. That is a common flowering plant that is grown. It's a perennial out in North Dallas. And then here is another plant. Fine, boom. This is a rodeo oyster plant. I think that's what it's called. What I love about it is it's got that pink variegation. This one's for $4.98. I love pink plants in the purple undersides. Obviously, this is basically a Tradescanthia, but it's not one that trails. I really like that a lot. So I will be buying this. So it looks like they were marketing this as like a plant you can grow outside, but I am going to be growing this indoors. I often see this actually at Trader Joe's. Yeah, Trader Joe's being sold, but this one is the one I will pick up and then eventually put in a nice planter. I'm just looking at that. I'm so happy I found this one. I know that it doesn't seem like a rare plant, but some plants really just speak to you. They just want to pick, have you pick them up and take them home. And I love this one. This will go right next to my variegated boat lily. And I'm going to pan away and show you how full this Lowe's is, even on the outdoor section. Over here we have another gorgeous looking planter full of Coleus, some impatiens, and I think some other plant. I'm not 100% sure if it's a banana plant or some type of plant, but look at these fiery blooms. I do like the combination as well. So if you're into those, you know, planters, that's nice. And then I love this lantana. I actually have this color as well. This is a hanging basket of lantana. Look at that. Look at that red. I might actually buy a lantana this size at Lowe's and just plant it in the ground, but look at that lantana. They make really good ground cover, and again, they are very profuse bloomers, and they don't need a lot of water and can tolerate very hot conditions. So this is a plant that would do very well for me. Look at these petunias as well. Again, there's so many different types of petunias, as well as different types of begonias and petunias. Lots of plants right here. They've got racks and racks of plants. I do like this combination planter of the lavender and, you know, pastel yellow colors. I love that canary yellow. Very bright petunias. I am going to buy a hanging basket of petunia, most likely at Callaway's nursery, which is a local plant nursery there. But, you know, with these 1 hour plant shopping videos, it kind of gives me room to be able to just talk and blog about my personal plant collection and my daily life in general. So I hope you guys are getting to know me. Ask me any questions on the live premiere chats. I will love to answer them, as well as, you know, comments that you leave. I really do encourage people to leave comments in my comment section for my videos. And you can see here, there are some more lantanas. Love lantanas, and they're very easy to grow plants, and these are in the smaller pint-sized ones. Look at that bloom right there. It looks like it's going to have some peach yellow blooms. We've got some yellow lantanas, so I am excited to see how my lantana grow. I bought them actually out at Callaway's for like $2.99. They were a little bit more pricey, but there is a guarantee when you go buy them at Callaway's. But I do like the white lantanas as well. Lantanas in general do very well. I can't tell you how easy they will grow, and this one is actually in another Proven Winners a planter container, you know, combination container, so I like that a lot. That one is actually gotten a very good combination of plants. And look at these. So these are more planters that have, you know, ready to go petunias. These petunias are so beautiful. Look at that. They're a little bit smaller in the bloom size, and it's just exciting to see that petunias, I've never paid attention to them, but it seems like year after year more hybrids of petunias are happening. So I'm just going to pan over here, and then we've got some dahlias. I'm actually tempted to buy a couple of dahlias and plant them in the ground, see if they will grow, since they are perennials. I found a gorgeous looking one at HEB that I'm going to come back to for $12.99, but these ones are not bad at all as well. So dahlias are grown from either tubers or seeds. I heard that tubers are better, but look at that. Look at this dahlia right here. It's got a nice magenta tone. These ones are by Monrover for $6.98, and it's a beautiful one. I really like that a lot. It's one that I will most likely plant in my landscape. I'm going to start growing a little bit more on my outdoor garden as well. And this is a nice looking succulent plant. This one is got this gray, ghostly, frosty look about it by Monrova. Really nice looking plant. This one is going to definitely need a lot of light. And what other plants do we have available here? So we've got a bunch of assorted petunias. I'm just going to pan over. this is an absolutely precious looking petunia. I love how it's got miniature look about it, and then just the striping is amazing. And then we got some more combination planters here. I am going to take a little bit more time to show you these hostas. So hostas, I am almost tempted to buy these Monrova hostas because I love the variegation. The green on green variegation is stunning. I almost want to plant a couple of hostas out in my outdoor section in the shade, just because I've seen my mother-in-law actually grow hostas in her yard, and they were able to grow outdoors and repeat itself and actually grow back, because these are perennials. But this one is a particular one I would want to buy because look at that variegation. Isn't that stunning by Monrova? Now, for those that have grown hostas, have you been able to successfully grow them indoors? Like, have you been able to take them inside and just overwinter them? I love the texture of the leaves. They remind me of tropical like aeroids, but I do like that a lot. They actually remind me of aglaonema in a weird sort of way, but all of these green on green variegations is lovely. Like this one right over here is a different type of hosta. This one has a little bit more rounder leaves, so I am all about it. Now, hostas do need to be in shade, so I'm thinking if it is in shade, you could probably take this indoors and grow them. But again, I am curious if anybody's grown hostas. I also like the stem and texture of it. Monrova, I would actually pay a little bit more for the Monrova hostas because they're nice. They're lush, full, and I love the coloration here. But you can see there's different types of hostas. So I'm just going to pan around and show you all of the different types that they have. And then they have Coleus lilies right over there as well. All of these plants are perennial. So if you are to grow them in the ground, they will die off in the winter but grow back in the spring. This is only for $7.98. That's not bad at all, especially if you're looking for a green on green variegated plant. Look at this. I am just pulling these up and they are nice and healthy. I don't know a lot about hostas, but what I do know is I am a fan of the texture of the leaves. There is a little bit more crumpling on the leaves. I love the round textures of the leaves, the points of the leaves. And you can see this one actually has albo variegation, more cream variegation right over here. So it's nice to see that there are a lot of different types of hostas. I think hostas are a good complementary plant for, say a Japanese garden, which is what I'm attempting to grow. So lots of these available at this Lowe's. I'm glad that they got a full restock, and it's just early. It's only the first week of April, so you can see that there are a lot. Look at this one. This is starting to really multiply. So I don't know if hostas will push out new babies and just kind of spread. But I'm going to go ahead and just pull up a lot of these different types. Let me know in the comments or in the live premiere chats what you think of hostas. If you've grown them, if you've grown them indoors, would you recommend them to grow indoors? I've got so many questions. So I'm hoping that you guys will come out on the live premiere chat or in the comment section and leave some comments for me to respond to. So these hostas right here are for 2 for $12, so $6 each. These are originally $7.48. Now these are not by Monrova. These are the local Lowe's versions. I like that a lot too. This one has a little bit more of a subtle gray tone to it, and then we just got some green hostas right over here, which aren't bad as well. These are also for $7.48. So if you want to get some hosta plants, I would definitely go to this Lowe's because they've got a full table, trays and trays of them, as well as racks of them. And these are not a bad price at all. These ones are on sale, 2 for $12. So that's not a bad price. And you can get a large one like this hosta. Look at that. look at that green texture of it. I actually love looking at hostas. They are bringing me a lot of joy. For some reason, they remind me of like an outdoor aglonema or something. I don't know. And this one right over here is a hosta guacamole, 1998. This one is a larger one, and you can see that it's got some yellow variegation to it. It's got a nice shine to it. It's a really nice looking hosta. And you can see right here, I panned over to a lot of different plants, but one area I want to take a little bit of time is to show you the Acer palmatum or Japanese maple. So if you love Japanese maples as much as I do, I always look at this, and they've got a really good selection of Japanese maples. Now with Japanese maples, they definitely need to be more in, protection from the afternoon sun. So in some shade after like 2 o'clock, especially if you're in a hot climate like Texas. And you can see here, they've got the traditional Acer palmatum bloodgood. They've got some crimson queens right here, those lace leaf Japanese maples. These are for $48.98 in gallon size containers, and they've got some larger Japanese maples. Now this one is a Emperor 1 or a Red Emperor. I had one, and for some reason it was growing out for like, it's been outside for like 2 years. It got this large actually, and this year it did not come back from the spring, so I don't know what killed it. I really like this one because it's very heat tolerant. And then right here is a Sangukaku or a coral bark Japanese maple. What I like about it is it has like red stems in the winter when all of the leaves have fallen off and it's gone to, hibernation. And then we've got some more Japanese maples right here. These are actually really large size Japanese maple. This is a Tamakuyama Japanese maple. This one is a cascading lace leaf type of Japanese maple, and they've got larger Japanese maples right over here. It makes me want to just buy a Japanese maple this size because Japanese maples take a while to grow. They are very slow growing trees, but they are very elegant, very gorgeous, very diverse trees. So there are a lot of people who are into Japanese maples. There's a whole community of it internationally. I am one of them, and I also collect Japanese maples and maples in general, just as much as indoor house plants. So again, I love plants, and this is very interesting. I've never seen a Acer palmatum ukigumo this size only for $290. Like, I'm thinking I need to buy this, but I don't know if I can actually put this in the ground because it's so large. Like, it would take at least 5 to 10 years to get it this size. And what's interesting about ukigumo is, now maybe not in Texas, but when it leaves out, it can be completely white. It's one of those Japanese maples that you want it to leaf out a little bit slower so you can get that variegation. But you can see that it has some shades of white. It is not completely white, which is understandable because it is in Texas. But in other climates, they are completely white. The ukigumo, I'm thinking I need to go back here. So I'm going to have to just consider what my finances look like and where I can put it. But I am surprised. So that would be considered a rare plant find for a Japanese maple at a big box store. So I'm going to go back inside and just take a look at what other plants that they have left in these indoor section. I always think that I might run into something a little bit more rare or, uncommon, but I do want to pan over here and show you guys all of these gorgeous looking Phalaenopsis orchids. They are one that we can just look at because I like the different colors and shapes, sizes, all of that for a Phalaenopsis orchid. And you can see we've got a begonia maculata right here. Love that. We've got some more begonia maculatas and more plants over here. I'm going to walk past here and look at that gorgeous looking ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf. The leaves are large. I love that a lot, and it's also shiny. And we've got some Dieffenbachias right over here. You know, this Dieffenbachia we're looking at is that Dieffenbachia sublime. And then we've got some more hanging baskets. I see a Hydra helix hanging over there as well as like staghorn ferns. And then right over here, this is a nice looking variegated pothos. This one is an Epipremnum aureum, pearls and jade. So this is often a plant that people mistaken as like an enjoy, or vice versa. People will label this as a enjoy pothos or an enjoy pothos. There is some confusion, but you can see this has a little bit more speckling and the variegation isn't as like highly contrast. So that's how you can check that. And then I'm going to walk over here. They have some more like overflow, but whoa, now here is a rare plant find. I'm super excited. Look at this. This is a Monstera celtipicana, or what Costa Farms calls as a silver Monstera. Look at that. I haven't seen a hanging basket full of that. And this one's for 2028. So I'm definitely going to buy this today. So there goes my plant budget. I mean, like I said, you know, you have these plants that if you find it, you'll get it. This is one that I would definitely buy. Now, this is a plant that does better growing up a totem pole. You can see that it's trailing. So these trailing ones are, the leaves are a little bit smaller, but I love this. I have one that was from a propagation that's growing, but this is a vigorous grower. So I am going to get it, and I'm probably going to cut back this Monstera celtipicana and actually propagate it in water. But look at that. Look at that veining, that silvery look about it. It's a fairly healthy looking plant, and it's one that I'm not even going to question whether I'm going to buy it or not. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. Now, this Monstera does need a lot of bright indirect light, alongside with a lot of Monsteras. This one particularly will do better if you grow it up a totem pole or moss pole. For now, I'm going to let it just grow on a hanging basket so I can get some trailing nodes so I can cut it up. But yeah, I went ahead and purchased it. Wow, I am super excited. Like, I know that I just got super excited when I found it, but seriously, it was one I didn't find. And then this is another plant that I bought right here. This is that Rodeo oyster plant. I love that pink variegation. And I'm going to pan over here and just show you what other plants that they have outside before I head off and go home. You can see lots of full sun perennials, annuals right here, some petunias. That is my flower of the hour. And we're just going to pan over and show you what else they got here. And you can see they've got a bunch of vegetables and herbs and a bunch of citrus plants right here. I always like to look over here and see what kind of citrus plants they have. If they have a calamansi or calmodium plant, which is like the Philippine lime, I would definitely buy. But this is my first time ever seeing papaya trees actually available. That is a tropical plant, and it wouldn't be one that you could grow in the ground in Texas, just because we do get really large, like really cold frost. But you can see there's a bunch of tomatoes here. I love homegrown tomatoes. Tomatoes are something that I would actually grow. And then we've got some blackberries right over here. These are in full bloom. But anyways, plant foldies, I really hope you guys have enjoyed my plant shopping video here. I know I was gone for the weekend, but don't worry, I am back this week. I am still fairly busy, but I'm going to try my best to do that. But for those that have missed me, I am glad I was able to come back. And hopefully you will actually hashtag team replay some of my older videos if I don't produce a live premiere. Again, life is a little bit hectic, but I do enjoy these plant shopping videos. I love showing you guys plants, plant pricing, plant care, and just really growing our community. So if you haven't hit this like button and you made it this far, please smash that like button for me. Also subscribe with the notification bell on. So in case I put a live premiere chat that's not at 7, you'll still get the notification immediately. This is Richie at Grow Folds. I'll see you later. Bye.